And we are live back with Real News Quarantine. Man, it's been a crazy, crazy, crazy busy week in the news. We're just going to start off with the biggest story that everyone was talking about on Twitter. Hashtag you ain't black, hashtag Joe Biden's racist, trending on Twitter all day yesterday. He's lucky it happened on a Friday, but I'm going to play to you, right here for you guys, the clip. You guys, Dictator Phil and Alex aren't going to be able to hear this, unfortunately, because of Discord, but I'm gonna
Oh,
play
we've
this for
seen it.
the. Oh yeah.
Oh, we've seen it. Go ahead. I know. Let's let the YouTube verse. I mean, they've probably seen it too, but
We'll roll it right now. So in case you missed this beauty, we'll roll it. Oh god, it's so painful. I mean, it is. It's hilarious because it's so embarrassing.
But you know what's funnier? Like the actual it's not just funny that he said it. Like it's fucked up. Don't get me wrong, but it's funny. What makes it funny though is not just that he said it, not just that he said it in front of Charlemagne the God, but he gave this real shitty grin when he said it. Like he had this weird, I don't know. It's like Vince McMahon kind of shit-eating grin, like but Vince McMahon, he's following a script or something like that. So the whole thing is staged. Like in his personal life, he's actually a pretty decent dude. I've actually met him.
Oh,
but
nice.
yeah, so I'm digressing. Look, the Joe Biden, he has this, he said it, you ain't black, and he has this shit-eating grin after it. It's I don't know. It's one of a kind.
It is.
I will say. Let me say another thing. And I know I don't agree with Charlemagne the God and a lot of his views and stuff. Okay, there's a lot. I mean, there's stuff I agree with, and there's stuff I definitely disagree with. But I think he handled that interview incredibly well.
I didn't see the full interview.
Given what's around him, given what was around him, and the way that he responded, you responded about as well as you possibly could. And that's something he's passionate about too. Charlemagne God, he's very passionate about African American issues in America. So would you see somebody say something like that, and you're that passionate, right? That's about as clean. Look, how Charlemagne responded is about as clean as it's probably going to get. Because I know, if you say that around a lot of other people, you're probably getting a more vicious response. And as we're seeing with a lot of other, there's a lot of other people that are like, you're out of your fucking mind to say some shit like that. And deservedly so, but
he was too nice to him. I think because his staffer was already right before he said his comments. This is like the double irony here. You could hear his staffer butting in, like, "Oh, it's all the time we got," and that was before he said this condescending statement.
I mean, in that instance, right? In that instance, you're making a split-second decision. I guarantee there's no way Charlemagne the God saw this coming. To hear that and then see the smile. I don't know. I like you, and then and then what? And then going after that, he put out his hands. Is like, well, look at my record. I'm like, oh, come
Jesus.
on, come on.
Yeah,
And it
look,
was like,
look at fucking Biden's record. Look at what he did in like the fucking 90s and shit.
look, he's like, I would say that Donald Trump has done more in the first 3 years, 3+ years, than Joe Biden has in his entire political career. And Joe Biden had like what, a 30-year plus head start. Like, I mean, it's, I don't know. I like, does he really say this stuff and not think that people aren't going to look any of this shit up, or that nobody else is going to say anything to retort what he's saying? Like, it,
Maybe. Oh, keep going.
no, I'm saying if you have something, Alex, like, please. I'm
Well,
kind of confused.
I think maybe he watched like some of Trump's shit, how he won the 2016 election. He's like, oh, Trump says outrageous shit. Maybe if I say outrageous shit, that's true, you know. And to the Democrats, that is fucking true, because look at the percentage of people voting for him. And I think maybe now people start to rise up and be like, hey, these people are flat out saying it to my face, who aren't even black, that, you know,
He
if you don't vote
proves
for Democrats.
Kanye West.
Yeah.
Correct. Everything Kanye's saying about the Democrats, saying, you're black and you have to think this way, you're black, so you have to vote Democrat. He revealed what they really think. This is probably the most honest Joe Biden's ever been, except when he talks about people going to 7-Elevens and about Barack Obama being an articulate, mainstream black president. His words, not mine. So this isn't the first time with Joe, but this was so bad.
Yeah. I'll piggyback on what Alex was saying. I think what Joe Biden was trying to do was he was trying to say something slick, because he thought, like, him and Charlemagne were homies, right? And they were trying to talk like buddy buddy, but like look, Charlemagne's been around the scene for a minute, right? Joe Biden is a 77-year-old white male who's had a track record of doing bad shit to the African American community. Like, you're not, like, it just, not only does it feel unauthentic coming from a politician, but it's like even worse coming from that person,
Yeah,
that particular person.
Fucking KFC guy. Telling you, fucking vote for me, or else you're not a real black person. That's like probably the most racist thing you could fucking say. I don't know. Like, I don't even really know too much about Charlemagne personally. Like, I know him and Mr. Medicare had like a beef at one point. I think like Medicare like made fun of him, call him midget or something. But that's
yeah. He's had beefs, and he's had his things, and yeah, he says a lot. He says quite a few things that I disagree with, but I respect his ability to interview. Like, he hosts a very popular show. Like, he is a co-host on the Breakfast Club, a very popular radio segment, and he's very good at he's really good at interviewing, because he's very good at getting information and then asking for, like he's very good. He's a really good interviewer. I will say that.
What was he before this? He sounds like a rapper,
He's a
honestly.
rapper. Yeah. He did a little bit of rap.
That's
He
what
did
I
a
thought.
little this and that.
Yeah, and okay,
But
the thing is, the big takeaway for me from this is that not only is Joe Biden completely out of touch with just about everything, which we've known, it shows that the Democrats have taken the black vote for granted for years. This is, I think, and we've talked about this before, I think Trump is going to dramatically increase his turnout among African Americans. Is it going to be 50%? No. But I think what did he get for like 9 or 8%, whatever it was. I think
it was single digits.
Yeah, I think
In the
he's definitely
2016, he will get more. He will absolutely get more.
Well, here's what's going to happen too. Not even just that, but this is going to make black people not want to show up to the polls when you see your
Yeah.
for fucking granted. Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
This is kind of his deplorables moment here. I mean, he's probably got more bigger gaffes down the road. I don't even know if I'd call this a gaff. This is Joe probably being honest. It's disgusting and condescending, but this is what these people think. They look down on the average person. They look down. I mean, look, Hillary with the deplorables. You're deplorables. You're basically, they look down on average Americans. And specifically, demographic groups they take for granted. And that's what they're doing here. Trump can swoop up a significant enough, chunk of them. He's not going to convert them all. That's just not going to happen. But this is what Kanye's been saying. This is what Candace has been saying. This is condescending, racist behavior by the Democrats, and that's how you got to frame it.
And I think when you look at deeper, like you're talking about like the mainstream media, I mean, and studies have really shown this too, from a psychological perspective. When you're shown a piece of footage and you're told something over and over again over a long period of time, you could be conditioned. It doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter how, like, if someone says something the right way to you over and over again, you can be conditioned. And look at what we're going through right now. Like, honestly, if we're having an honest conversation right now, I think Donald Trump's probably the best president for African Americans we may have ever had. When you look at what he's done with black unemployment, with the historical black colleges, with the prison reform, with the dismantling of Joe Biden, with dismantling of his crime bill, meant much more. But I'm like, you're talking about stuff that, look, Obama, the first ever African American president, he didn't do as much, which is amazing. Like, aren't you supposed to be doing more? Like, and the Clintons, they were terrible. They were terrible to African Americans. I feel like this is the best president for African Americans we've ever had. Unfortunately, I know I get real long-winded here. Unfortunately, the public has been told for God knows how long by the mainstream media over and over again that Republicans aren't doing shit for African Americans, and that Democrats are doing everything they can and they're fighting for the African Americans. And so the African Americans need to vote Democrat. Like, and they've been told this over and over again for decades. And so it's almost like the Democrats have this smug, like, oh, we got the African American vote on lock, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so we're dealing with it. And right now and over the last 3 years, we really have started to see a systematic dismantling of that narrative because, well, with technology, you get alternatives, right? So, you have other alternatives for media, and we're starting to see these other prominent African American conservatives that are voicing things out. You got Candace Owens, you got the Hodge twins, you've got the interview that Tim Scott did with CBS was fantastic. If you could Google YouTube, I highly recommend it. Anyway, so many people. CJ Pearson, he's been fantastic. Say that again.
Diamond and Silk,
fantastic. Terrence Williams, I love watching him on Facebook.
He's hilarious.
Hilarious. And like Ali, love him. If I'm missing anybody, I apologize, but the list is growing, and I'm proud to see it because we have to continue bucking this trend.
Yeah, and what I think is important is that, I've probably said on this show before, identity politics is cancer, but, and this is a big caveat to that, I think when you have the left playing the identity politics game, you do have to counter that in some way. That's why people like Milo are very effective. People like Candace are effective, and Kanye, because you have to kind of break their, for lack of a better term, conditioning here. Break the mold, break the perception, and the
I
easiest way to do that is to be a black person that's conservative. And it's people also, I think, tend to um, identify with people. Especially if you see the way the Democratic Party plays the race card, and you see a black woman who's, uh, let's say, I'm looking at because I'm looking at this image here, but if you see her, let's say, working for the Trump campaign, or you see her giving speeches, or you sort of connect with that because you go, oh, I was told Republicans are racist, but there's a black woman supporting Trump. That catches my attention. Let's look into it. And I love the Trump campaign immediately jumped on this. They immediately jumped on this buying comment because they knew it was gold. I mean, it's gold. They have a hashtag you ain't black shirt now with Joe Biden's name below it. And the description says Joe Biden actually told black Americans they, quote, ain't black if they support President Donald J. Trump. Sport this t shirt and make sure no one forgets the words hashtag you ain't black came out of Joe Biden's mouth.
yeah,
It's
we
perfect.
had Antonio Okafor
Oh, yeah.
on our show, and I was royally impressed, like how intelligent, how quick spoken she was, like because we saw, well, I saw her on there was the Vice documentary about black conservatives on YouTube, and they had her, like they involved her in that uh little documentary piece, and they didn't make her look as intelligent as she actually was. Talking with her, I was royally impressed. Like I'm just like the incredible stuff and the positive stuff she's doing, like I'm it was incredible. um but yeah, I like, and one of the things that we're talking about, like, and by the way, the last everything you said was completely accurate. th- and I'll go deeper into that too. The one thing that we have to continue to do, and we get resistance with it, and I know Trump got a lot of resistance when he first came in, and I gotta shout out to these other conservatives, right? um we dealt with this at Penn State. We're still dealing with it. We you got to fight back. Like, look, you got to get aggressive. You got to get on the offensive, because if you do nothing, the Democrats are going to trounce on your shit. Okay, they don't care. They know they're lie. They lie. They know they lie, and they don't give a shit. Right. So you have to counter it. Like, you have to meet them, and it looks aggressive. And these people are like the conservatives that we're dealing with, and the ones that Trump dealt with when he first got in office, and he's still dealing with them. They're non-confrontational. They're kind of weak, kind of soft. Not, "Oh, I don't want to deal. I don't want to, deal with all this or whatever." It's like you have to, because these liberals are not going to give up. They're not. Doesn't matter, right? If you want what you want, and we all want our agendas to happen. We all want our Second Amendment protected. We all want our First Amendment protected. We want, like, we want everything on our constitution, our freedoms, everything. We want it all protected, and we want our economy. We want to have that American dream to where we can make something of ourselves. And but you have to fight for it,
Yeah.
because if you do nothing, they're just going to walk all over you.
And a good
Here,
oh, I'll let you go, Alex.
here's kind of like my other question with that too. Did Biden ever apologize for this? And do you think if he didn't, if he will make an apology. 'Cause I think
He made a half-baked apology. He said, "I shouldn't have said that." I'll go Google it. It was some really wonky apology. He used typical Bidenisms, like
I was sorry for being too cavalier.
yeah.
Something along those lines.
What the fuck is
Like,
that? It's not cavalier. That's you
it's like,
showing your true colors. You don't
yeah.
care about these people. You just don't. I mean, imagine if Trump said this. That's what I always go back to. Imagine if Trump said this. Oh my
what if Trump
God.
said this about white people? Like, if you don't vote for me, you're not white. Then people would be calling him a fucking white supremacist.
What if black people went up to a Biden and said, "You ain't white"? Well, how would he deal with that?
He'd probably laugh.
He'd cheer it. He's like, yeah, I'm one of you guys now, and start fucking developing cornrows and
Probably
shit.
start dropping the N bomb after that.
Yeah, he'd start rapping too. And that's the thing too, is it's so like
He'd
the
probably
joke.
He'd probably go with some McDonald's. He'd be like, I heard you guys like the McRib. Is that oh man? Start eating in front of him and shit just to piss him off. Like,
Well,
like
the joke of white, like about white people trying to be black. It's kind of like with when Hillary Clinton put on the sort of the accent and the cadence.
oh, you remember when she had that interview and she said, "Oh, I have hot sauce," and pulled it out of
Yeah,
her
yeah, yeah,
fucking
yeah.
purse.
Hot
What an
sauce.
unauthentic shit is that?
Yeah, that's like the fucking Cutco people saying they have their little their knives in a sheath and they take everywhere.
Yeah, I had to bring it back to Cutco. Oh my God. Yeah, it's like
Parties that like Cutco's a fucking scam.
Like,
oh
you
yeah,
have knives
Cutco's a
in your
scam.
purse. You have full blade knives in your fucking purse, you crazy person.
$70
Like,
no knife.
like I've seen this documentary on ID channel. It doesn't end well.
It's called Wives with Knives. The thing too is like actually about Cutco. Not to go on a tangent here, but I've been doing a lot of interviews, and a lot of these I've been running into. They sound like marketing ad jobs, and then when you actually get on the interview, they turn out to be just sales bullshit jobs. I've been able to spot these MLA or MLM. I forget what the acronym is for multi-level marketing. What was that?
Yep, you're right. MLM, multi-level marketing.
Yeah, MLM. I'm spotting them like easily now. Like I have my eagle eye on them because once you go through just even the interview process, you realize how bullshit it is because they immediately start talking about pay. They immediately want you like to recruit college kids. They want you to work these hard hours. And when I hear, there's no salary, it's all commission based, I'm like, yep, I'm just slave labor. And then they want you to buy like these training books or these like fucking knives, and it's like, well, this one training book for this insurance company was like $200 and you had to take a test. I was like, no, thank you. But there are a lot of those out there. Now I look back and I realize there are people in college, like a particular person we know, that was trying to get me involved with Cutco. I declined it because it all felt a little weird, but he kept trying to like be like, oh, you need to pay off your loans, right? I'm like, no. Oh, well, it's okay. I made like 30 grand with Cutco over the summer. You should join. You should join. Come on, Sean. I can refer you. You should join. And really like pushing me. And then I realized, because he gets a kickback from that. He gets money. I see how it is.
Well, here's the thing: if he was really making 30 grand in like 3 months, why would he even go to college at that point?
Yeah. Well,
Like,
I
if I
think
was,
he wants to go back and work for Vector, aka Cutco, like now.
oh, good. Well, if he thinks it's that good, go ahead, because you can if you have rich relatives, that thing works. If you have rich friends, that works. You're basically grifting off of your friends with MLMs. Not even
Yeah.
just cut, because no one in their right mind would buy that shit. No one with any sense of money would buy fucking cut. That's my one problem with the fucking some people in the Republican Party. They defend that behavior.
Yeah. Well,
Call
let's be
that out if they're-
fair. The one person we do know is not very Republican.
Well, no, but there's certain like the actual legislators. They allow this behavior to keep growing.
True.
No one, the Republicans have not been doing it. Like they allow it to happen.
Yeah.
I think a lot of them get funding from these groups, and that's my one. And I'm not afraid to go and fucking call it out when I see it, but that should be a bipartisan issue. Fuck those scam companies because they target people. It's an easy way to go and like scam people into fucking paying out all sorts of money and then not getting anything in return. There should be a fucking law against these companies, like because they're not even they're not a real company. A real company doesn't it doesn't make the fucking people working for it go into debt to go and pay back the company. Like this isn't the fucking 1900s with a company store, but it's almost that same sort of thing with a lot of these multi-level marketing companies. Not all of them, but that's how a lot of them make their money. You
Yeah.
know, and then they can claim, oh, you can make $17 an hour or whatever is like significantly above the minimum wage in your area.
And then you find out, oh, that's commission based if you sell like 10 knives a day. There's always a catch.
Yeah, which the price of those knives, you're not gonna be like, you will have to find someone that's either really, really stupid and gullible, or is a relative to, and then you go. It's like fucking selling popcorn, or like in your Boy Scouts or something, or I guess Girl Scouts with the cookies. Well, at least the cookies are good. Like
Well,
the
and at
fucking
least it's going to an honorable cause. Like with Cutco, it's just people. It's these corporate people, like sleazy rich people, like used car salesmen, taking advantage of in debt college kids, making them do a lot of work for honestly not that much pay, and they're the ones profiting off in the end. They're the ones that are safe. They're getting all the big money, whereas these college kids are getting some commission if they are lucky enough to con people into buying something they don't want.
Yeah, like at least used car salesman, like it's a product that people need. Like you don't need a fucking vector knife. And it's cheaper than a new car, definitely. Like, it gives used car salesman a bad name when you compare it to fucking MLM schemes.
I apologize to used car salesmen across the country for that. But to switch gears back to the Biden thing, because I want to talk about what Phil was saying, which is going on the attack. Going on and like really hitting it where you should be. What Biden said, we'll contrast what Biden camp said and what Trump camp said. Biden tries to kind of like get out of this mess by saying, I should not have been so cavalier. I've never, never, ever taken the African community for granted. I beg to differ. He added, quote, I shouldn't have been such a wise guy. What?
What are you, wise guy?
Oh my
What
god.
kind of
Oh, it's so
that is
bad.
definitely something a 77-year-old white guy would say.
He continued, quote, no one should have to vote for any party based on their race or religion, their background. That's not what you guys say in the Democrat Party. Now, this is the best part. If you want to learn PR, you should model this statement. Katrina Pearson from the Trump campaign is also, I guess, the head or a big part of Black Voices for Trump, which is the basically the Get Out the Vote coalition for African Americans for Trump. Here's her statement. It's beautiful masterpiece. It starts off, Black Voices for Trump's statement for Joe Biden's racist remarks. Again, out of the gate, it's golden. They're framing it as racist. And here's the full quote. White liberal elitists, again going for the elites, have continually dictated which black Americans are allowed to come to the table and have their voice. It is clear now more than ever, following these racist and dehumanizing remarks, that Joe Biden believes black men and women are incapable of being independent or free thinking. He truly believes that this is the best part, a 77-year-old white man should dictate how black people should behave. Biden has a history of racial condescension, and today he once again proved what a growing number of black Americans and I have already known. Joe Biden does not deserve our votes. Wow.
Yeah.
It is concise and it kills it from start to end. They attack his age. They attack the condescending, racist nature of the remarks. They attack them taking blacks for granted. They attack how they're basically treating blacks as if they're dumb and they can't think on their own. And then ends it beautifully with the sort of optimistic, hopeful view that people are waking up. It gives black African Americans the benefit of the doubt, the good side of this story here, because this is all bad. This is all negative, and they put a beautiful positive spin at the end of it. It's a masterful statement, and I love it. Like, this is the kind of shit you will not see from the Romney camp at all. But this is the kind of shit you see from the Trump campaign, and this is why he won and will win again. This is on point.
I still wonder if he's gonna. I just something just tells me he's not going to be the candidate. Something tells me that Biden's not going to be the candidate. Like there's going to be some. I'm sticking to my gut, and I'm thinking that something's going to happen, and they're probably going to like the DNC is probably going to push him out. But I think they're going to wait.
They can't.
I think they're going to wait until after the convention
Well, then they
where they
absolutely
nominate
can't.
him, and then Biden will like step down or something, like where like
It's
I
not
guess
going to
the vice
happen.
presidential candidate would step in on the ticket or something. Like I think there's gonna be some sketchy shit. I'm telling you.
I don't
I
think
feel it.
so,
I feel
because
it.
look at how many people have endorsed him. Obama, Pelosi, all these big names. Why would they back somebody that they know is going to drop out? It would look bad on their part.
No, because they can control. Okay, so if if they could get a vice presidential candidate that they can choose without having to actually go to the polls and earn votes. Like if I can get say if I could get Biden to suck up all the votes to lock up the nomination, right? If I could get them to not lock up the nomination, and then I step down and say they want somebody like I don't know, Kamala Harris, right? Like say you wanted Kamala Harris the whole time, but like nobody was gonna fucking vote for her. Like you could put her in as the VP, and then as soon as the nomination happens, Biden could step down, and then it's like, well, the VP is, Kamala Harris, so then she could step in without actually earning the vote.
No, they would piss too many people off, especially the Bernie Bros, because the Bernie Bros would say, "Hey, wait,
Maybe,
Bernie got the
maybe
second most amount of votes here. He should be the nominee
these
then."
guys. See, I can't discount it though, because the 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 Dems are unbelievably smug to the point of ignorance. Like
Yeah, but they're so
they're
smug that they think Biden can win. That's
that's what
what's
I'm
scary.
saying. Look, it's smug to the point of ignorance.
Yeah, but I don't think they would do something that stupid. It would be
Oh,
it would be
shit.
way too far for them to do that. I mean, especially when you nominate somebody at the convention, it's a done deal. You can't reverse that. So it would either have to happen at or before the convention. He's not dropping out. If they were going to switch somebody in at the convention, again, it would have to be Bernie. It's the only person they could do. If they did somebody else, they would just totally blow this whole thing up and it'd be a mess. So they're stuck with Biden, but what I think they're going to do, maybe, is once he picks his VP, Biden goes back in his basement, stays there for a hibernation, and the VP does 90% of the work. I think that's more likely what's going to happen. The VP kind of takes the spotlight away from him, which it's a failing strategy, but it's kind of the only
It
strategy
might be
they
better.
have.
It might be better than Plan A.
Yeah,
Like it's like
exactly. And I think because there was talk, here's another thing we can just touch on quickly. There was talk of a bunch of women there in his vetting process, and that's how this question came up in the Charlemagne interview, that Amy Klobuchar is being vetted. Yeah, I think she's somebody definitely to consider, but I don't think he's going to pick her at all. That just doesn't make
mhm.
sense to pick a white woman. Again, it's got to be a colored woman. It's got to be a black woman. I hate to say it, but this is how the Democratic Party thinks. This is
Yeah,
who they're going to pick. Hmm?
he needs to save face now with that shit.
Exactly. He's got to cover his ass. I mean, he was attacked from the very beginning, the first debate, attacked over racism, and now he says this shit. It's like, I mean, it's like, does he want to lose at this point? I mean, when I saw the notification, I woke up late. I'll admit it, because I'm still acting like a college kid. And I look at my phone and I see the notification. Joe Biden says in an interview with Charlemagne that if you don't vote for Trump, that if you vote for Trump, you ain't black. And I'm like, what? I cringed, and then I'm like, this can't be. But at the same time, I was like, No, this very well could be. Actually, like I had that split second of like maybe it's fake news, maybe it's taken out of context, but I very quickly went, no, I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me at all anymore, this shit. The NAACP is pushing back against it, which I guess is good, but let's move on because we've beaten that story to death more than Joe Biden has beat his own supporters to death. Um, Talk about a seismic shift happening right now in the podcasting world. In the I guess you could say the talk show world. Joe Rogan announced just out of nowhere that he's moving to Spotify a $100 million multi-year deal. Now, why is this important? If you know who Joe Rogan is, you know he is the number one podcast, probably not just the country, but maybe the world, maybe. He's on YouTube. He's on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. He's on all the podcasting platforms. Because that's how podcasts work. They just sort of go out to all these things. It's free. People listen to it. He has interesting guests, and he's very popular. Like 8 million subscribers on YouTube, and he's influential. But he has controversial guests like Alex Jones, Milo, Kevin McGinnis. He, I mean, I've heard people like Milo say he's the next to be banned, and we've kind of speculated on this show too that he is pushing the needle sometimes too far for other people's taste, and YouTube is mass demonetizing. There's a lot of shit going down. Him, Joe Rogan moving to Spotify, I'm gonna say is bigger than Howard Stern moving to Sirius. This is a seismic shift. This is the moment in history when podcasts are taken seriously. It shows because there's a money value on it now, $100 million.
Yeah.
And it's not just any podcast moving, it is the number one podcast moving to
Yeah.
a Spotify exclusive, which means you have to go to Spotify to watch and listen to Joe Rogan. Spotify loves this, of course, because their numbers are going to go way
Yeah.
up. I mean, now Spotify is going to have a bigger focus on their podcasting area, which has kind of just been the corner. But other platforms are now going to start doing this. You're probably going to see Apple Podcasts
Mm-hmm.
buying up people for exclusives, Spotify or SoundCloud getting
Mm-hmm.
exclusives. All these Podcast One, they're all going to start doing this. And Joe, I think, dodged the censorship bullet. I think he did this because he knew the banhammer was coming, and it's smart to migrate your audience now while you have a big major mainstream platform. You can move them over now rather than getting banned, lose half your audience, lose all this shit, and hope you can survive. I mean, that's what's happened to a lot of people. And Alex Jones talked to him apparently for 45 minutes. He claims that Joe left because of the censorship and the mass demonetization, and that once he's on Spotify in September, the first guest he's going to have on is Alex Jones, and the second guest is going to be Elon Musk. I hope he does that. It'd be lit. That's my diatribe on that because this is a big deal, and it cannot be understated just how important and seismic this is of a shift.
I think it's big because um you look at first all the stuff you said was true, but for me it's like they essentially Spotify essentially put a price tag on the rights of a podcast. That's big. Like to me that's big because you are saying that something is worth this much money, and so now that causes some other dominoes to follow. Like, because
Exactly.
there's a lot of really good podcasts out there. So you're like, well, I mean, if you're talking about exclusive rights, and there is money to be made because you can advertise, you can offer subscriptions. Like, there's a lot that you can do if somebody's talented enough, and so you have to you really have to start negotiating now with a lot of these big podcasters, and of course who bigger than Joe Rogan right now. And like, so I just wonder, like, well, who's the next domino to fall? Like, maybe the next couple to fall, maybe the next, because you're talking about, when Howard Stern went to Sirius, right? That before the Sirius XM merger, like when he went to Sirius, you had, then Opie and Anthony, that domino fell. And then, you had a couple of other people falling shortly thereafter. Like it, like something like that sparks more down the road. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, Joe Rogan is one of those unique ones though. Like he's really, uh, I love listening to his podcast because he brings like a plethora of different, you know, different interviewees from like all spectrums, because you're talking about he'll do Elon Musk one week, and then he'll do Bernie Sanders another week, and then he'll do Anthony Cumia another week, and then he'll do um, Neil deGrasse Tyson, you know, um, and then he'll do Alex Jones the one week, and then it's a real mix, and I don't know. It's I'm looking forward to it because I already have Spotify, so I'm like, you know,
Yeah, I mean that's the thing too. Spotify is going to grow exponentially from this. I mean they're already huge, but then now that they're
yeah,
getting it, they're seriously going into the podcasting world, and I think it's going to obviously help Spotify get more ad revenue, get more data to harvest and sell. But for the I see. I know Joe claims he's safe and he can say whatever he wants, and it's
oh
gonna be the same show on
yeah,
Spotify. We shall see, because Spotify also banned Alex Jones. Let's just keep that in mind. But I am hopeful that we can find places for, I guess you could say, dissident and controversial and just free thinking voices can have a platform, because YouTube is strangling that. It is not a platform for free thinking anymore. It is simply about having advertiser friendly voices, and even that, when you do get monetized, your monetizations are just going down. Scott Adams did a great video recently just showing simply last year he had more subscribers, or he was getting more and more subscribers every day. Subscriptions were just going through the roof, and so was monetization. It was above
yeah,
it. Monetization was more than his number of subscribers. This year, literally
yeah,
out of nowhere, it just changed. He was still getting more and more subscribers, but his demonetization just crashed, and it was way less than the number of subs he was getting. It
yeah.
it's killing him. And
I
Joe
mean,
now has locked in 100 million. He doesn't have to
yeah.
worry about getting demonetized. It's
Well, and here's another reason why I'm confident that Joe Rogan will still be able to do whatever he wants to do, because I mean, Joe Rogan has a whole lot of fuck you money. Like even even before all of this, he was still pumping out some pretty good cheddar. And that's it's different. Like if you were just like an like say you were talented, but you were like up and coming. And so you have like financial ties to certain things. And it's like they could really kind of manipulate you. Like Joe Rogan, he's like, well, fuck.
Well,
Like he's got fuck you money, so it's not as big of a deal. Like I think he could really like the leverage is completely on Joe Rogan.
oh yeah, well he has a contract too. So like like I don't think they can change the contract halfway through. Like if he was
Yeah,
smart, he probably would have put something in there where he can have on whatever guests he wants, and within.
sure. I'm sure of it.
And if they did change a contract, then he has $100 million, and they violated their own contracts. Then he could, with that sort of money, he could host his own website and do it himself with that.
Mm-hmm.
Or he could go to another like streaming platform, like maybe he'll go to like Apple, streaming, or iTunes, or Google Play. It doesn't matter at that point because he'd be free again. Like the world's his oyster, and unlike Alex Jones, who, to my knowledge, he never had a contract with Spotify.
Mm-mm.
So they can get rid of you if you're not contracted for whatever reason they want to. If you're just hosting,
Mm-hmm.
you to host your content for free.
And that's what our podcast is like too. Like ours syncs up to Spotify and all these services, because we use Anchor, which is actually owned by Spotify now, which distributes your podcast across all the platforms. including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all these, except SoundCloud. SoundCloud is stupid because you have to pay after you put up like 10 episodes. You have to pay every month to keep uploading. It's really annoying. But with Spotify, anybody can put something up on there. But he's got an exclusive deal with them that he's only on that platform now, which is it's huge. I mean, it cannot be understated. I mean, he's the perfect sort of image of what the new media is like. It's online, it's free flowing, open, it's very modern, and it's very populous. It's not corporate media. Joe just has a studio that he's built himself, and he's cursing, he's having fun, he's drinking, smoking pot. It's very Zoomer. It's really interesting, and I think while I've had some criticisms of him recently, I've kind of like I don't want to say like gotten rid of those criticisms, but I kind of think now, oh, I think he really gets what's going on. And that's what Alex was kind of saying, because Alex got mad at him. He's like, Joe, you have all the information. You know this is happening. You know the globalists are trying to censor you. And it sounds like it kind of reality really hit him. And Alex claimed it was because YouTube, I believe this article isn't up anymore, which is annoying. It was done by Paul Joseph Watson. It was a great article. I don't know why he had to take it down. But it sounded like YouTube was telling Joe he couldn't have these scientists on his show about coronavirus that disagree about it. Maybe they were going to label like misinformation or something, or demonetize it, or shadow ban it. I don't know, but there was something about that. And that was like the straw that broke the camel's back for him. So, I don't know, but it could be. And maybe Joe just was like, yo, Alex, I didn't tell you to publish that shit, and that's why I got taken down. But it's interesting. Interesting, and it wouldn't surprise me because I've heard stories about scientists with different viewpoints on coronavirus getting shut down, censored, demonetized, all these things on YouTube. Pretty bad. But do you guys
Yeah, they
want...
want to control the narrative on that. They don't want you to dissent.
And then at the same time, they want to put software on your phones that tracks you with Bluetooth if you're infected with coronavirus.
Yeah, like didn't they do that new Apple update or something?
Yeah, but you know what's nice? I mean, I got the update, and there's a separate coronavirus app from Apple, but when I looked at the settings, I thought immediately, I'm going to turn this off. It was already turned off. Didn't even have to do anything. So I do appreciate that, and I hope it's actually off, but I do appreciate that it was off right when you download it.
I doubt that. Like, if they really want to figure out where you were, they can they can get your triangulate the signals and look it up in the fucking tower.
Oh yeah, there's so many apps that know where you are. When you have that, what's it called? Location.
On there, if they really want to find out where you were, as long as you have that and you can't turn off the regular phone, you're kind of fucked.
Yeah, as long as you have location tracking on, like you're getting tracked.
They know where you are.
Yep,
they know when you are sleeping. They know when you're awake.
Yeah, they don't bring you gifts down the chimney like Santa does.
Yeah, they'll demonetize you though.
Yeah,
they'll work on cursing you if they don't like you.
Now here's where I'm kind of at a weird spot now with all that, is I'm like, should I just say fuck it and be like, privacy's dead, like who cares anymore? Or should I be like, yeah, privacy's dying and it's probably dead, but let's not make it worse than it already is?
Yeah, obviously, try to go and fight for what little bits of scrap you have left. Don't give up. If you ever need to go and do anything truly private, put your phone away, keep it in the car, and do what you will. Make sure everyone else is doing it too. Don't wear any smart gadgets when you're trying to do anything remotely private.
Yeah, I just wonder if it's
just
like
ask
a losing
Earl
battle.
Thomas.
Who?
Earl Thomas, you don't know the he's the safety for the Seattle Seahawks that okay, so this one's kind of crazy. It's old, but whatever. A couple weeks old, I guess.
His wife pulled a gun on him for an affair?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, he was participating in an orgy with his brother and a couple of females. And so the wife tracked where he was at because of his I guess it was it Snapchat, I guess.
Oh my
So found out
god.
that he was at a, you know, at one of his other houses or whatever. And so she came in with a gun and started, you know, threatening him and pointing a gun at him and all that, you know, and
Dude,
but I'm
like, I
saying,
can't.
look, you don't want to get caught. You better keep your freedoms in check, you know, turn your location. You
But
know, I'm
that's
just
such a
saying.
fucking rookie move. Like, leaving your location tracking on the snap map. Are you kidding me?
Like they
Oh my
like
god.
I'm sure he had so much on his plate, you know, like his brother and a couple of girls. They didn't really have time to look at the whole, you know, location thing. Okay.
Oh shit, he even posts. Whoa, it says,
Yeah, he's like, oh, this guy. Yeah, right after that, he posted on Instagram. He's like, oh, this stuff kind of stuff happens, bro. Like, where on the Springer Show? What the fuck?
she found a video of him with other women on his Snapchat, and then she decided to check his whereabouts by logging. Wait, she logged into his Snapchat account,
Yeah.
so she has login. And then
Right.
she used his
That's fucking
Snapchat account to track his location to a nearby Airbnb rental home, and says she called up two other women to help her confront Earl at the pad.
Yeah. You can't
Wow.
make that shit up.
She had a fucking Beretta too.
Yeah. That's a reliable one too.
Yeah,
Very reliable handgun.
that's what they say, man. Don't fuck bitches. And,
Get
don't think
stitches.
you're getting crazy. And if you're gonna be playing around, don't try to time one down.
Yeah.
What an absolute loser.
Like there's tons of
Oh,
people out there who are like into those like poly fucking amory shit. Just find one of them.
Sounds like something
yeah.
for the poli sci major.
Oh God, fucking poly
Oh,
sci.
are we really gonna go there? Are we gonna go there with
Well,
the
you
poli
guys
sci
want to
shit?
go there. You know you do.
Yeah, but that was
More sense polyamory or poly sci because they're both fucking bullshit
yeah.
in the real world.
I had to do that segue. I mean, I heard poly and my
Mm.
like senses went off. Oh god. Like, okay, we've dissected poli sci before on here, but what's our new sort of um, thorn that's been added in our side about poli sci? What's triggered you recently about it?
Well, I was in discussion with someone. They were basically saying that what was the word for that? Like I'm like throwing their entire major under the bus because I said that polls aren't the end all be all of
You're
gauging public.
insulting his major.
Yeah, like
Well, yeah. Everything okay, so my biggest beef right now with some of the people that, you know, I know that are in that major is they're talking about like the elections right now and it's what, May, right? Um they're talking about like, oh, these polls are being read and it looks like Trump is behind on a couple of these polls or whatever. I'm like, did you not watch the 2016 election? Did you not see how that panned out? And they're like, and a lot of these people are saying, well, they got they got the national polls right within the margin of error. And then of course I'm well, that's the dumbest thing. If somebody says that to you, they're a fucking idiot or they're misleading because um usually the margin of error on polls is somewhere around 3%, right? Give or take.
Summer's high is
So,
like 6.
right. But we'll give them 3%. Like, well, let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. We'll go 3%. In the last election there was what 127 million voters total, something like that. Maybe well, let's say 130 million because you know Gary Johnson he uh he had a few. And then Vermin had a few too. Anyway, so um so you look at 3%. What's 3% of that? That's like 4 million votes, right? Now if you're looking at it from an electoral standpoint, 4 million votes could mean absolutely nothing if they're distributed, say, amongst New York and California. That would change nothing in either of those states, like as far as that goes. But if you distribute them in some of these other states, it could get you're talking about like, you know, 50, 60 electoral vote swings, that could completely flip in a whole election, right? So it's like when you're talking about a national, like you're talking about the national margin, it's like, well, where are these votes distributed? Because we're not a popular vote country, we're a country of electoral college, right? The electoral college, uh, they're decided. I'm sorry, the elections are decided electorally, you know, and so they tell us, oh well, the national polls were kind of right. Well, no, they weren't fucking right. At one and two, even if they were, it doesn't make a lick of fucking difference. Um, I don't know. What do you think, Alex? Because help me out here.
Yeah,
Because
no, it's our whole fucking major. I feel like you could go and break poli sci into two different like sub majors. One, the people that actually get shit done, and that would be like, your the one class. The what was
The
that thing
one
you called,
class.
Sean?
The Poland class.
Okay, yeah, that wasn't a class. It was that boot camp thing.
Leadership Institute.
the Leadership Institute.
You would have a number that would be pretty much the one major, like practical, trying to actually get people elected and to stay in office. The other one would be more philosophical for people that want to go and like use as a stepping stone to another major, like kind of the would be like more of like a subset of the philosophy major, like more of like the differences between the political parties and shit like that. Maybe briefly going over that, but like right now, it just seems like this bastardization of the two. They're trying to do too much at once. Like honestly, and the stuff they teach isn't even that great. Like they try to go and take something that could be summed up in like a 2-day boot camp and put over 4 years. Like it's just a bunch of bullshit classes in there. Like it's one of those classes that I don't think really deserves to be a full on major.
Yeah.
Because like the people who take these classes, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They become either elitist or they're like so fucking deluded that they think that like third parties and shit are like extremely viable.
Yeah, well,
You know,
because there again, this is something I think that happens with college. Like, a lot of classes are bullshit to begin with, unless you're in some special majors like engineering. But even when you are in any sort of thing, it's an idealized version of what econ should be, of what advertising should be. Like, PR is a good example. This PR professor, I just couldn't stand him because he's like, in PR, never lie, never do this, never do that. And I'm like, they do this shit on a daily basis. You'd be like,
Yeah,
you're not there to defend the company no matter what. You're there to tell the truth. And I'm like, ha 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 ha. I can't do the laugh I was
are
doing
they
at the moment, but it was
like?
like, this is a joke. Are you kidding me? Like, ha.
well, honestly, I feel that poli sci should be more towards that like marketing sort of degree than towards anything else. If you actually want to get shit done, that's
Yeah,
what's wrong. They don't know how to market. You need to be like a PR person to like to help your fucking candidate because half these people are fucking incompetent.
but
Somebody
yeah,
I need a fucking PR guy for that dude, not a poli
That's
sci.
why
in
they
no
hire
way.
PR
Okay,
dudes. Yeah.
so in no way am I saying don't learn about polling, don't learn about you know
It should be low in your
the bell
priorities,
curve,
though.
or standard deviation or whatever. I'm saying if you're going to get into politics, absolutely learn about that stuff. If you're going to learn about like quantitative values when it comes to polling, absolutely. Just know that it's the most manipulated shit on earth, right? That's like because if you think there's honesty in polling, I got a bridge to sell you in fucking Brooklyn. Because, like, look, I mean, there's a reason why there are so many polls out there, because one can't be reliable, right? You've got so many people with so many different agendas that you're not going to get, like, you have to you have to read into whatever poll you're looking at. It's like, oh, well, CNN poll just determined that Biden is in front by a certain amount. Like, well, let's look into that. Okay, well,
Did they oversample Democrats? Yes.
who did the yeah, who is it? CNN? Who are they? Well, they're a conglomerate news organization owned by Time Warner, which is owned by AT&T, which does multi-billion-dollar business in China. Well, what was the population? What was the sample size? Where was the sample size taken?
Yeah, no, like that's all like a fucking stat class. I took 2 stat classes and we went all over that. Like, why do you
Right,
need a whole fucking major?
right.
Like, if you want to go and learn about this shit, there's better avenues than wasting, like $40,000 in 4 years of your life or however much it is for fucking college.
How many
Like, there's
politicians are poli-sci majors?
probably a lot, but they go on to
Yeah.
law school though, and they go to
I think
like
a lot of
And they get a proper
so a lot of
degree.
it, yeah, very what Alex was saying, and like I think a lot of it, well, especially like if you're talking about the national circuit, a lot of it is just like Ivy League. And if you're majoring in poli sci, a lot of it is um like if you're majoring in poli sci, a lot of it is, you know, like a card carrying member of like an elite school or something like that. It's more like a club versus, you know, legit, like, okay, let's, what are we learning? Who are we serving? Whatever. It's like there's a lot more that's going on than just, oh, I want to get into politics
Well, if you
or I
want to get
want
into
to
politics, you gotta get into campaigns. You gotta actually do some real world
right,
experience. Do the LI
right,
shit. Read up on some books. Research shit on your own. I mean, and look, it's
right.
because this comes like even with the advertising. A lot of shit I know, a lot of the strategies I implement or the thinking I do, and the thought process, didn't learn it in class. It's this sort of like weird mindset people have that like school teaches you everything and you're going to be a master at this thing once you walk out of college. That's so far from the truth. And with
Right.
poli sci, I mean, look, you should
Yeah.
know there's a problem just right from the name. Political science.
you cannot. Well, and that's another one of my big fucking pet peeves with that is they keep saying, "Oh, well, it's a science." Well, yeah, just because they put science in the name doesn't
I
mean it's
mean, technically,
So is
technically
Scientology.
anything.
yeah.
Scientology has science in the name.
Technically, okay, so technically, see, this is misleading as shit too. Because if you really want to like say, well, technically anything is really a science, right? Because it's like,
You
well,
gotta remember
technically,
that voice. That's a good one.
anything is a science. No, like even economics is a science, right? Because economics is a science and how a country handles its scarce resources, right?
Well,
Like,
statistics, I guess with that, but that's not even a real science though. That's I'd almost put like business in like a third category of like the
but
human.
you could argue, but you could
It's more
absolutely
theory.
argue that anything is a science. Anything that
No,
you
because
learn about
science is
is a
something that
science.
is observed, I think repeatable, testable, and something like that, where it can be proven again and again.
Oh, you mean repeatable, like teaching something about something in a course that is taught over and over again?
No, I mean it can be recreate. I think that was the word I was looking for. Like, and
Mm-hmm.
for example, gravity. I can take this ball, drop it, it falls. I can take a book and drop it, it falls. You can keep doing that and prove gravity exists. I mean, I forget what the definition of science is, but something along those lines of what makes science science or scientific laws. But like political science, it's really political theory, or maybe the political. It should be called political studies. Because yes,
Yeah,
you do learn forms of government and all that shit, but it is just like every other studies class. It is useless except if you do other shit on the side. If you get involved with campaigns, if you're actually doing shit that's beyond the classroom, you can go somewhere, but it's not because of your
So
major, it's because of you.
so science, the definition of science is the observation, identification, description, environment, and experimental investigation, and theoretical explanation of phenomena. That's pretty much anything. That's pretty much anything because you observe it, you identify it, you describe it, you investigate it, and you explain it, theoretically explain it. Like that's
Yeah,
you could literally argue that about anything.
yeah.
Anything.
Like I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's a difference between like chemistry, where you have
Yeah.
X amount of like this chemical.
Well, no. I'm not saying there isn't a difference between chemistry and like poli sci. Oh, absolutely. No, I'm not that I am in no way arguing against that. I'm just saying when you're talking about the word sci, remember how I went weird with the technically, right? Technically it is. Obviously, if you dig deeper, there's obvious differences, but you know, I was just saying,
Mm.
technically,
Yeah, I get your point. I think it's valid to bring
yeah.
up, but it's
I'm not saying it's even valid. I'm just saying
yeah.
technically,
Yeah, that's
by
good.
the letter of the definition, you could. Obviously, how we see science, it's a bit different from,
Well, couldn't you argue that like women's studies could be its own like could be
of course. Of course, you could be that women's studies, even though it's one of the shittiest majors offered by a college, that could be considered a science because it's, some batshit crazy person, observed it, identified it, described it, investigated it, and explained it, right? Um, but obviously, if you look deeper into it, you really find out how useful that shit really is, or useless that shit really is. But again, technically, you could, argue that.
And I think a lot of people that, because I do know some good people on poli sci that actually have made something of themselves and get the real world, but I notice the people that don't, that get into poli sci, that don't get the game, they kind of, I think they go into poli sci because they really don't know where else to go, and it makes them kind of feel good. It makes it feel like they're learning something about this shit, and they don't, like, I can think of two people in poli sci at least that just don't put in the hard work that it takes to actually learn this
Well,
shit. And like in Turning Point, for example, most of the people that show up there aren't poli sci. None of the people on the
yeah,
exec board under my term were poli sci majors.
right.
and you can tell by the results,
Yes, you can.
Oh, of course, of
what
course.
happens because honestly, like these people, they go into it, they expect, they expect it to be like a like chemist, like engineering or something, where people just be lining up for jobs without realizing that hey, this major's on its own, it might be like a $20 bill, but if you play your cards right, you buy and sell some shit, you might be able to make a decent bit of money. Versus engineering, that's like a fucking $100 bill, and you can pretty much do whatever the fuck you want after that. Like you can pretty much take like engineering or like a like a super hard science, and people will line up the fucking door like computer science, and like they'll fucking offer you jobs like right out the gate. Versus there where you have to go and do significant amount of work, before you can get it even into the fucking door.
And I think too with poli sci, like, if you're gonna get involved with CRs, CDs, or something like that shit, it's almost like, well, it's my major. I guess I should do these things. But people that aren't in those majors that do them, it's out of passion. It's because you genuinely like this shit or believe in it. I think that's where that separation comes in. And man, I just Google poli sci memes. Some of the spiciest shit comes up. I love it. People on the internet get it. Like this one's like, you're funny, fully supported by your parents, and in poli sci 101, please honor us with more political wisdom. And
Yeah,
it's
no, it's fucking true, man. Like, why are these people some of the most like dickish to be around?
Yeah.
They make such a fucking big deal. Like, oh, like they run like elitist circles. Like, why can't they just not treat other people like shit?
And they flex their
Fun-
major like, oh, look at me,
Right.
I'm poli-sci.
Well, I mean,
Oh.
like, and of course with poli-sci, there's my biggest thing. Well, I wouldn't say it's the biggest thing, but it's like you get a lot of people that are in poli-sci and they wanna lead, but they don't want to serve. But that you can't
Put that on a
really.
t-shirt.
Well, I mean, there's a whole bunch of people, including the Bible and Andrew Ma and all these famous people that already said that shit. But anyway, like, but you see it a lot in poli-sci. Like, you see a lot of people that want to lead or they want to be in a leadership position and all the glory that comes with it, but they don't want to serve. They don't want to actually serve to, or do the dirty work to get to that point, right? And that's what, and it's hard because when you serve, okay, so and this doesn't just apply to poli-sci. It applies to really life in general. Like when you serve, right? When you do the hard work, when you do the groundwork, you develop a sense of purpose, direction, and motivation, right? You develop those senses and you learn about the purpose, direction, and motivation. And so when you get to that leadership position, you can lead other people more effectively because you have that knowledge and you understand the purpose, direction, and motivation behind whatever it is you're trying to tell other people to do, right? So that's where I mean, but with poli-sci, you get a lot of these people that want to lead and they've never served. So it's like, well, how the fuck are you going to be a good leader? It's a crapshoot after that. Like, I don't,
They're
Well,
not
see,
collecting the skills they need simply. Like, it probably, I'll let you go, Alex, in a second, but last thing I'll really say is that it just needs to be like LI. Like, your classes should be taught like LI, where you learn how to
mhm.
actually do this shit.
Yeah. But LI is great. So LI teaches you a lot of good groundwork techniques too. Like, they really teach you a whole lot of good groundwork techniques. I was looking at one of the LI manuals or whatever online, and it had a lot of good a lot of good content in it, like to teach somebody how to you know do the groundwork, like do the ground game, do the information gathering, do all the stuff that you do, but even before you become a leader, you know, and which is so it's important because, well, if you don't know what your subordinate is supposed to do or the purpose behind what they're doing, how the fuck are you going to teach them?
yeah, no, no, that makes sense. Like, honestly, if there was two people that came over to me, one was a poli-sci major and one just, didn't even go to college. He went to like Leadership Institute. I'd rather put the person who went to Leadership Institute in a position of authority in the fucking campaign
Yeah,
room.
hands down,
Yeah, no
hands
question.
down,
No
no
question.
fucking question at all.
See, I'm looking at the presidents of the United States and their majors in college, and I think there is only one president that was a poli-sci major, and it was Woodrow Wilson.
Didn't Bill Clinton like have a poli-sci major, then he went to law school or something?
I should be specific. It looks like ones that graduated. Bill Clinton, University of Oxford, withdrew and then went to Yale Law School.
Well, did he go for poli-sci?
Let's find out.
He's got some fucking skeletons. Man.
People of America, I did not have sexual relations with that woman. I don't know how tired of that fucking impression has to be. Like, I did not have sexual relations with that woman,
The most
Miss
infamous
Lewinsky.
line
Yeah,
from the
like,
90s.
I know that has to be the most worn out fucking line ever.
Let's see. He went to Georgetown actually,
Oh,
and was receiving a Bachelor's of Science in Foreign Service degree in 1968.
fuck is that?
Which, yeah, who knows what that means. Oh my god, here we go. This is where it gets good. While in college, he became brother of co-ed service fraternity Alpha Pi Omega and was elected to Pi Beta Kappa and was also a member of the Order of Demole, a youth group affiliated with the Freemasons, but never became a Freemason. He's a member of Kappa Kappa Psi honorary band fraternity. What the fuck? That's like 4 different like frats and Mason secret groups that he like jumped around through.
I know for a fact that there was a Mason who is the president of Penn State's College Republicans.
That doesn't surprise me. Upon
I
graduating
remember I was
Georgetown,
at his house and I saw like a Masonic logo. I was like, "Are you a Mason?" And then I was like talking to him. So I was like, "Oh yeah, you Mason?" I was like, "Nope."
and he says, "Okay, I'll show you the door."
Yeah, geez, like you can see that, but like no, like the thing with that poli sci major though, it's just like if the people in there could like actually act like decent human beings for the most part, like some of them are fine, but a lot of these people they just want to go and say, oh, I don't have to go explain shit to you, I'm a fucking poli sci major, like that's just what pisses me off the
Oh
most.
yeah.
And like honestly, I think that they should go and make it more rigorous because obviously it's an easy major. Some of these people just like putting in fucking no effort. Like it should be
I
like
think it
a
gets hard near the end, though.
does it really?
Well, somebody I knew was failing pretty bad.
Define hard.
Well, okay.
Well, I
You
don't
know
want to
that,
say like hard, but like it gets. I mean, everything I guess gets tougher near the end, but apparently it gets tougher near the end. But I don't even know how hard it was getting, to be honest.
I don't know, man. Like they never want to go and talk about their major except for when they
That's the
make it
thing.
like, oh, I'm better than you because I took a poli, so I'm in this political science. And if all they do is fucking polling, like honestly, it sounds like marketing or something would be better off than like honestly it does because at least marketing people know how to fucking poll. Because I've done polls and research studies and focus groups from a bunch of different people, and the fucking political ones are the worst.
They only
Like they're made the
explain
worst.
when they're poli sci majors when it's convenient.
Yeah, like I just don't see how they can fill 4 years of education with that stuff. Like, the 2 days I was in LI, it was jam packed, it was good, and you could probably have a few more classes, but I can't really see a point in you having it like full on, like for 4 years. Like I couldn't imagine doing that. Like, and I took a poli sci class, and it was like, okay, here's political ideology. Like, okay, that's great, but we're democracy, so maybe two of those are really pertinent to America. Like it's just impractical. And that's
Yeah,
my big concern. That stuff is just academia bullshit.
and they all go into law school so they can learn a valuable skill in politics, which is how to bullshit. And that's what you don't learn this in poli sci. I don't even look honestly. What do you learn that you don't learn in a fucking like high school civics class? Because like you learn the structure of government in civics,
Well,
in
some colleges don't, or some high schools have gotten rid of civics classes, but
ours
I
was
don't think
called
they
just
make up for it.
Gov, but like it was 1 year of that, and you learned it. And then you learned all that shit before, but you kind of went into greater detail. Why is there a whole major that just sort of goes into ideologies and shit like that when you can figure that out on your own?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see where the money is in just like that little poli sci. Like if you unless you go like, and that's true too. One of the lowest paying majors is poli sci unless you go to grad school. Like that's just flat out the truth. I think I saw that somewhere.
I
Maybe this
believe
was
it.
before they did women's studies and gender studies, but like, honestly, they all kind of seem just the same sort of bullshit. Just except for this one, I guess isn't as I mean, for being ideological, probably isn't as left. But I mean, it depends on what school you go to, too, and the professor.
I love that.
But
I did find a new poli sci politician here. Bernie Sanders graduated from University of Chicago with a bachelor's in poli sci.
There you go.
There you
yeah,
go.
see that, and that's another thing too. I have a fundamental flaw with that whole major because I don't like career politicians.
Mm-hmm.
So that whole major kind of, you know, it is
It's the
like
problem.
I'm against that a major even existing. So I don't like career politicians. I don't think it's
Yep.
beneficial to have people.
Mm-mm.
I rather have a fucking working man. Like I love what Trump did.
Yep.
Other politicians that like at least they had a fucking day job beforehand. They know that, and like especially if they had like a working class job or something, or not even working class, but like a real fucking job, not just like
Not
sitting on a
bullshit.
fucking ivory tower somewhere. At least they have some real world experience and they know different people.
Take a guess as to what Jeb Bush's major was.
He's probably fucking poli sci.
No, it's worse.
Was it business?
No, that's better. It's gotta be worse, dude. You gotta go lower than low.
Sociology.
Latin American Studies.
Of course he would. That's probably why he thought it's. Oh my god.
Oh my god, that's so bad.
Thank God we dodged that bullet.
How is that a fucking major? Like I no, don't get me wrong. If you want to study something like that, hey, whatever, it's your fucking life. But that's not a fucking major. I don't know how that's a major. Like,
Yo, John Kasich was a poli sci too.
Yeah, look at that guy. Look what that got him. Fucking nowhere.
Meanwhile, Trump, Bachelor's of Science, Economic, Real Estate. Hell yeah.
Yeah. And look, he actually he was successful. Like business, I wouldn't call business a science. Business
No,
is,
it's a
I'd say
theory.
it's a third. Like there's a third way. Like you have your fucking hard sciences, you have your your humanities, and then you have business. Because I feel like business, and you could probably even lump poli sci in there. Because I mean, no, I'd say go to humanities in general. But
Poli
it's
sci is like sociology in many ways when you think about it. There are a lot of overlapping similarities. They have all these grandiose ideas that come from studies and polling and sampling. And it's like, look, the thing with like polls too is, I mean, I'm an ad major and obviously I haven't been in the real world yet, but like, even our textbooks told us, at least one of them did, that like, yeah, polls aren't, and studies and surveys and focus groups are really a guess. And my professor even told us, like, they tell you a very limited sort of like viewpoint. Like they're not really telling you what people really feel and think, because there's a lot of subconscious shit that's just not going to come out in a focus group. And it's there's just so many problems with it. I don't know why people like fetishize these things.
Well, I feel like focus groups are better off than just like I think there's a hierarchy there. So you have your fucking polls, and those are a dime a dozen. But then you have like fucking focus groups, and that at least with that, you're spending a lot of time on that, spending more money, both to go and administer and to go and like force people to go and take
Free
it.
pizza.
Jeez, and that was a fucking scam too, because like I've been to fucking focus groups before, and I've gotten like hundreds of dollars if I'm be spending that level of time there, and they didn't even fucking pay me for that, except for like some shitty pizza. No wonder people. I mean, and then too, like we completely we crashed that fucking thing with everyone from the Bull Moose party.
Well, we are for Trump at the time. Let's make a clear distinction.
I think it was technically. I think
No, it was we are for Trump because it was during the election. The name change happened. Well, actually,
no, they made us change the name because they said we could not make a club with the name of Trump's name.
oh yeah, I think you might be right, but it's not what the Bull Moose Party is today. To be clear,
yeah, that's
I mean,
before somebody finds this video and like goes,
poli sci teaches you pretty much how to bullshit people. I mean,
no,
honestly,
it doesn't even do that. It's why they go to law school.
Yeah.
Like, what does it teach you?
They teach you how to fake people out with shit like, I don't know.
Sound like a pseudo intellectual.
Takeout Tuesday. I don't know. Shit like that.
No, they teach you how to sniff your own farts. It's a very delicate art that many of us just haven't learned.
You're gonna be fucking pseudo intellectual and just gonna be a dick to people for some of them. Other people, like, I just don't see the fucking purpose.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see how this helps people in society get real jobs. Because, like, a lot of these, like, entry level poli sci jobs, you be working in the polls. And you can do that without having a college degree. I volunteered for campaigns before. You don't need to be a poli sci major to do that, and it doesn't really benefit you.
Yeah.
Because that's all like this big brain philosophy stuff. Like maybe if you become a politician, some of it, might be helpful, but like, that's
even then it's not, because like the politics game is about name recognition, marketing, connecting with people, doing favors. Like, I hate to say it, but it's like, you're playing this whole 4D chess game, and look, it's literally like a lot of campaigns are won on candidates, not policy. It's kind of an illusion a lot of people still have that they're voting for policy. It's like you really just need to know the basics, like if you're on the left or the right, and a few things that kind of distinguish yourself. But a lot of it comes from the messaging, a lot of it comes from the marketing, and that's something poli sci simply doesn't teach you. LI teaches you that, advertising teaches you that, marketing teaches you that. Um, Shit online will teach you that. I mean, that's why Trump was so good at it, is because he was a businessman. He understood
Mhm.
marketing because that's what he had to
Yeah.
do. You don't learn that in poli sci. You don't even learn that really, frankly, in business classes. You learn that from actually doing it or going out yourself and testing what works and figuring it out for yourself.
And see, and if you want to go and like really stump a poli sci major, ask them how Trump won when he lost all the polls.
Oh, yeah. You know
Mm.
what their response is? The polls weren't wrong, they were just misinterpreted.
Every
Mhm.
single poll by every single
Yep.
major outlet was misinterpreted.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You probably had like how
They
many fucking
had
Everybody
many of them
misinterpreted the
had
polls.
Bill. Yeah. Yeah,
Get
that's
him
what
out
I
of your
meant to say.
mind.
Now,
Bring Hillary
I'll
back.
I'll never get Bill out of my mind. No, no, that they had in the 2016, like at this time 4 years ago, they had Hillary Clinton by like double digit leads in a lot of the polls.
Hmm.
Um, what the fuck happened? Right? And if these polls were so fucking fantastic, it's like, well, what the fuck happened? And the problem is, it's like like I said before, they're like, oh, these guys quickly run to the national polls. Is like, well, they were within the margin of error. I'm like, the margin of error is 3% of 130 million votes. Okay, that's enough to swing anything.
Hmm. I mean, Trump won some states by like 0.2% of the vote or
Yeah.
like 1% of the vote. I mean, it's ridiculous. And on top of that, I mean, look, I've done a lot of phone banking. I made hundreds of calls. Most of the time, people don't pick it up. And when they do,
Yeah.
it could be their wife who's a Democrat or a
You know what
Republican.
I do when a you know what I do when a pollster fucking calls me?
You answer, say fuck you, and hang up.
Pretty much, pretty much. I'll be like, "Oh, are you a pollster? Hey, could you do me a real quick favor? Go fuck your mother," and then click.
well, that's the thing. Like, there's this whole. It almost feels like a fucking scam because there's this whole fucking industry out there
Yeah.
just peddling this pseudoscience. And if they couldn't even predict one of the most important elections, like it almost feels like it's like the those people, the fucking soothsayer. Back in the medieval times, they give you your fucking crystal ball. Like I trust one of those more than I trust like some of these fucking political
Mhm.
science majors. Because if they can't tell you who's going to win with a like, and all of them fucked up too. It wasn't just one; it was every single major one. Then your entire thing's flawed. There's no point to have your polls if you say that's acceptable for it to be the exact like. You have two choices, one or two. Oh, it was two. Who actually won, but everyone else was saying it was one. Well, maybe we shouldn't be relying on you fucking at all. Like, don't fucking make those predictions if you feel like it. And they were saying like it was like huge margins too. Like, come on, it makes your major look fucking useless when you can fuck it up that badly.
Yeah, and like Cernovich pointed us on Twitter today about how polls are bullshit, basically. Because you look into things just on who are they sampling, which is 9 times out of 10 it's skewed heavily oversampling Democrats. What age groups are these people going to be voting? Are they going through landlines, cell phones? Like, how are they contacting these people? How do you know they're not lying? Because some people just lie because they're scared. I mean, that's the thing in 2016. There was a silent majority. People were scared to come out as Trump supporters. People had targets on their backs if they were Trump supporters. And they came out of the closet and said, I like Donald Trump. You would be burned on a fucking stake. So people lied, or they didn't answer, or they said third party. There's so many skewings that can happen here. I mean, just the simple fact that people don't have landlines anymore, and they're basically still going to landlines skews it heavily. And look, I'm looking at 538, which I think Nate Silver is probably one of the most overrated people in politics. And they have the presidential general election polls here. They got a bunch of them here. YouGov. They sampled 1,218 people. Biden 46%, Trump 42%. That makes no sense.
YouGov's a fucking joke too. I've used YouGov before.
Yeah, explain your experience.
Like it's heavily liberal leaning. Because a lot of people who are conservative, they're not going to go and give out their fucking information for like pennies on the dollar.
There's a reason. There's a reason why they call a lot of Trump supporters the silent majority. Because you're not going to hear about them until the fucking elections.
Yeah,
You're not.
And imagine like the people we know that fetishize polls on the right. A lot of them are never Trumpers. A lot of them are fake Republicans. A lot of them don't like Trump at a minimum.
Yeah.
And if those people are answering your polls and they're saying they're Republican, I mean, they're not even even if you get if the poll is half Democrats, half Republicans, those Republicans aren't even representative of most Republicans. And then look, I'll just real quickly say the second poll they have on here from PPP, Public Polling Policy, has Biden at 59% and Trump at 37%. The previous poll from YouGov had a 4-point spread. Biden had a 4-point advantage, and this one has a 22-point difference. That's huge. How can these polls be reliable?
No, they're fucking not. Like, and here's the other thing too. It's like with these polls, you got like what times that you mentioned they call people on the fucking landlines. Then guess who's going to be at home most of the time?
Single
people
mothers.
That don't have jobs, people who are on welfare. Who do people on welfare usually vote for?
Republicans, right?
Yeah, no, they fucking don't, because they don't want to go and shoot the messenger, shoot the kill the fucking golden.
Like the hand that feeds them.
Yeah, like so that's an inherent problem. Like they need to actually do a fucking job, like do their job to get people that would actually fucking vote for them.
Because
like,
all these
get an actual representative sample size.
All these have Biden ahead, all of them. But look at the difference: 4 points, 22, 10, 9, 2. It's all over the map. It's as little as 2 and as most as 22. I mean, why do people? I know why the media takes these seriously, because if it's a narrative, it creates a bandwagon effect. Oh, Biden's in the lead.
Like, who are half these companies too? It's like Public Policy. I've never heard of them.
No, I've heard of Public Policy before. They're actually a pretty big one.
They've never called me.
Yeah, never. I've never gotten a poll. But who the fuck is Firehouse Strategies?
Optimus. What the fuck are they got? Optimus Prime. Transformer calling you.
I am Optimus Prime. Who are you voting for in the 2020 election?
Yeah, so you can see just by this giant spread, this entire thing's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And YouGov looks like, YouGov I've seen, they're probably the closest to being accurate, but even then, like those ones, you're missing a whole lot of people, because anyone who cares about their privacy is not going to sign up for YouGov.
Yeah. Oh my God, is that the Optimus Prime? Is that the Optimus Prime from like Transformers and stuff? Oh my God. Well, I'll tell you, I think I'm leaning my vote toward Bumblebee, but I'm not sure yet.
Optimus Prime sounds like a fucking porn star name.
Yeah.
Here's the other fucking issue with this too. It's like the second you tell any sort of like feedback to someone who's a poli-sci major, they get so fucking defensive.
They get triggered.
Yeah, like it's like you're invalidating their existence.
Well, because you are. Yeah. It's the only thing they have.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that they go over more than polling in all those fucking classes. I've had more fucking polls thrown at me than a fucking stripper, and they're all pretty shit.
Mm-hmm.
They're not the fucking end all be all. Like a lot of these have fucked up wording on it. Like I'd like to go and see the wording for this. I'd like to go and see the actual demographics of these people. Because a lot, like I know YouGov, they'll tell you like the demographics generally, but like you look at the people on their fucking site.
And then if you argue anything, it's like, well, what's your evidence? Okay, what's your evidence? What are your sources?
Election.
American history, you motherfucker.
Yeah, 4 years ago. Look what happened. Look at all your fucking poli sci major. Look at how glorious it was when all you guys fucking
If
failed.
all of you were going to be right, Marco Rubio would have been fucking president, you piece of shit.
A lot of them
Fuck
wanted
out of my
Rubio.
face.
A lot of them wanted that dude, that loser.
Yeah, I fucking hate Rubio, man. It's a fucking.
I mean, he's okay. I just
Dude,
there's no fucking way I would put him in the Oval Office.
he
There's
starts
no.
Alex Jones. Fuck that dude.
He can stay in Florida and be a fucking senator or
Jeff
whatever
fucking.
the fuck he wants to be down in Florida. Just stay the fuck out of the Oval Office.
He wasn't showing up to fucking the Senate or Congress or whatever. He was the number one candidate for not showing up to his shit because he had a job, and instead of doing his job, he was running for fucking election.
You know who's the better Florida man? The best Florida man?
Oh boy,
my boy Matt Gaetz. Love him.
There you go.
He is a.
I don't know. Look, Ron DeSantis, he is doing
yeah.
a fantastic job with that state.
Yeah.
Holy God, you could look at that election. Look how fucked we would have been if we would have had Andrew Gillum down in Florida. Like
not as fucked as he got.
Yeah, he would have been. He would have been fucked literally. Like apparently he likes to, do the little,
a little bit of fucking meth and get his asshole.
Dude, yeah, he likes to get his asshole spread out, but whatever. No, but on serious note, Ron DeSantis, oh my God, he's done such a fantastic job with that state, especially with all of the coronavirus stuff going around. You would have thought that, as crazy, like with the crazy population that Florida has, you would have thought that like they would have been the first state that would have been fucked over. But no, like DeSantis has did an incredible job with that state.
You know what I just noticed too about a lot of these fucking polls? They're not reporting. I'm on 270 to win, and it says polling averages for each state, and there is a other category on here that takes up like 10% of like every state. I'm gonna try and dig deeper in these polls in a second. Let's go to Pennsylvania. But yeah, Pennsylvania has 49% Biden, 41% Trump, 10% other, whatever that means. That could just mean silent Trump supporters.
Vermin Supreme, bitch.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
right.
Yeah, Vermin's he's gonna come in, swoop in, take it all, landslide, boom. I mean, okay, look, Fox News poll, Pennsylvania, from I think this is April 22nd. Biden 50%, Trump 42%, other 8%. 8% is significant. That would put Trump head to head with Biden, which is what it realistically probably is at this point. Even though I think Trump has the edge at this point because he's an incumbent simply, but that other category is so huge. That can be people that refuse. That can be people that are undecided. They're going with third party. I mean, I don't know what this other category means. So people with polls just piss me off. Like, especially after 2016.
I think in PA, I think a lot of people are starting to get fed up with fucking Wolf. Now,
Yeah.
that's another one, too. I think that whole thing, like, they're like, oh, well, everyone loves Wolf's response.
Yeah, you see that fucking the poll again with the polls, because there was an article that came out and it was like 70% of all Pennsylvanians approve of the job that Ron Wolf is doing. Like, who the fuck did you ask?
Yeah.
Like, did you go into the Capitol building where it's like full of Democrat employees? Like, what? Oh yeah, I'm sure they would be glad to fucking vote against Ron Wolf.
Well, see, I think maybe at the beginning, because I think he was doing all right when this thing first started. But now that we're this far in, like, especially after what happened with Beaver County, New York, and a bunch of these other places that technically should have been went to, like, yellow. And then what's happened with the health department with the fucking tranny in there.
You can't lock down. Pennsylvania is one of those states you cannot lock down because they're so it's an industrious state. There's so many industries that come out of Pennsylvania. You just can't you can't just say, oh, you're locked down. There's so many. And then there's so many nursing homes and there's so many total, like you just can't. Like, look, the natural gas, like with the natural gas and the the food processing and and some of the military, materials. Like there's a lot of just industry. You can't shut this shit off. Like you gotta keep them up.
You want to hear a good example of how polling is bullshit? This is a poll. It's on Daily News, which is a far left New York Times tabloid, and and the headline reads 44% of Republicans think Bill Gates wants to use coronavirus vaccine to microchip them. Poll.
That's some bullshit. Like,
Did you hear the loops I jumped through? It is 44% Republicans, Bill Gates, coronavirus vaccine, planting microchip, and then now there's more to it. There is more to there's so many layers. It's so complex. It says and then monitor their movements. Okay, so Yahoo News and YouGov, surprise, surprise, found nearly half Republicans believe that baseless conspiracy theory. Ooh, and may be resistant to using a vaccine that could end the pandemic. The poll also found that 20% Democrats believe the story is credible, while 52% know it's false. Oh, so they know. They just know. They just know. Only 26%. Okay, that's not important. Oh, here we go. 50% of those who believe the Gates theory cite Fox News as their primary source of television news. What fucking poll is this shit?
are they saying that Fox News is peddling this like conspiracy theory on
Dude,
there?
not even InfoWars is saying this.
Shit like that. That'd be actually pretty entertaining, but they fucking don't.
Yeah, they don't. Dude, not even InfoWars is saying this, I bet. Another thing too before I trans again, back into this poll. Well, I see a headline here. Matthew McConaughey, Camila Alves deliver coronavirus mask to hospitals. Good on them, because I hear so many Hollywood celebrities crying and saying how we need to all come together and we need to fight this virus, and they're not doing shit. And I think I mentioned this on the show too, weeks back. If you really care about this, if you're really worried, if you really want to do something, donate some money, get masks made or something. I'll give Makai some credit. They're actually doing something that actually makes a difference, rather than virtue signaling online, retweet, stay together, hashtag stay together in this virus. Oh.
I think so.
Hey.
Some of those protesters, man, they got the one state to open up because they brought guns, and they were like, okay, we're not. I'm not even joking. They actually said that.
What did they say?
A lot of a lot of these celebrities did do something.
Oh, really?
They gave us a wonderful rendition of Imagine.
Oh, fuck me. Yeah, that pulled me through.
It was game changing. It was a total game changer.
It was the cure for the coronavirus.
I was thinking, look, I was thinking I was just gonna let this country go to complete shit. But then I heard those stars start singing Imagine. Not on my watch. Not today, America. Not today.
What were you saying the protesters said, Alex, with the guns?
No, it was one of they didn't say anything. It was the one state, I forget which state it was, there was a city, and they went to a protest, and they literally brought, weapons and shit, and they actually reopened it because they were afraid for people's safety.
Oh, God. Let's see.
As much as I do like armed protests, I don't know. I feel like them giving into this kind of makes people want to do it more. At this point, I don't even give a shit anymore. Fucking open it up. I think we're gonna have a Waco situation in Michigan. I've said this before. They're gearing up to that because this stupid fucking Democrat governor.
Oh, I hate her. She is just, as Trump once said about Hillary.
Are you trying to give Donald Trump Michigan again?
Yeah.
It feels like
ban Trump from going to Michigan
because he didn't wear a mask.
Dude, all you got to do is just continue to piss off the people in your fucking state, and you're I think you just these people sometimes these people are so fucking stupid that I almost think that they're working with the Trump campaign. I'm kind of, you're that bad of a fucker when I'm thinking, wait, there's no way they can be this fucking stupid. They got to be working with the Trump campaign. There's no way you could tell me that they're pissing this amount of people off intentionally. Like, come on, something's got to be up.
Well, that's where Scott Adams came up with a joke in 2016. When Hillary was doing so bad in some things, like he would just say, like he would read through like an article about, let's say Hillary Clinton calls Trump supporters deplorables in a speech, and he would go, "The mole is at it again." Like he had this kind of running joke that like it was so bad that there had to be a mole in the campaign that was like helping Trump win. But, I mean, is it possible? Yeah, but it's like at the same time, what's more possible is the fact that they're just so bad at what they're doing, and they're probably poli sci majors, so no surprise. And that's why you get this shit. I'm trying to actually find the poll here, this Yahoo YouGov poll about this, because this is some wacky shit that they're like. I want to know how the question was asked.
I think they just. I think I remember seeing that somewhere too. I just think they want to go and paint like they want to go back to this deplorable meme. They're doing the same shit, and they're gonna have the same result too.
Mm-hmm. Well, because they're trying to frame Republicans as stupid, crazy, gun-toting, um, conspiracy theorists. I think more people are. I think there are more people that are like sympathetic to conspiracies than the mainstream media realizes. Especially after like Vegas, especially after Waco, after all these things, people question things more, and they don't like that.
Well, I just hate that term conspiracy
Yeah.
theory. Like it's just gaslighting critical
Yeah,
thinking.
it's worn out. You're starting to see some of these like Democrat terms that they use. Racist, homophobe, transphobe,
Tone
xenophobe.
deaf.
Yeah, right. And it's like they're played out so much that nobody fucking believes them anymore,
Tone
except for
policing.
their own crazy base. Why? I mean,
Yeah, they always
uh,
invent these words, and we've always talked about like making a fucking dictionary, like or video about this. But they always invent these sort of like terms, like tone policing. They create their own language, and it's just condescending. And that's the thing. It's always they are so condescending. Everything is about I'm smarter than you because I am X or because I know Y. And it's like, just stop. I hate elitists. Like, I want to be rich. I love money, but I hate elitism. There's like Trump rich, which is like being a Chad, being a badass, and giving
I
back and
mean,
being cool. And then there's elitism, like anybody in the media, like who is somebody we could point like George Soros maybe is like the pinnacle of elitism.
Dude, fucking Hillary Clinton,
Yeah, Hillary
probably.
Clinton, yeah, that's actually the best one. She's the pinnacle of elitism. Whoa, what is this? What? Philadelphia Dem elections judge admits taking bribes to inflate
you
vote
didn't hear about
counts.
that shit?
Nope, I did not.
Oh my god! Yeah, that was all over the news.
What was I doing 2 days ago? I don't know. Well, probably not paying attention. Because the news, it's
Yeah,
funny. Like with the news, it's so redundant. Oh, you keep hearing coronavirus, lockdown orders, quarantine, Governor Wolf. It's like you hear Cuomo, you hear all these things over and over again, like Orange Man bad, and I just don't even watch the news because it's so redundant and depressing right now. But holy shit. So this is why, like, again, like, people have their quote unquote conspiracy theories because of shit like this.
yeah. They're like, and when and this was one of those talking points that was pushed out like with the Philly judge or whatever, and it was like because Nancy Pelosi was pushing for the mail-in balloting and whatever, and they're like, we could do it safe and we could do it like whatever. And sure enough, you see this fucking Philly judge that was, pleaded guilty to stuffing ballots and shit. Like, look, this is why we don't need mail-in balloting.
Well, this is huge. Front page of Fox News right now, pushing back on Biden. Charlemagne the God says ex-VP intricate part of system that quote needs to be dismantled.
Yeah.
Wow. You're
Yeah.
having Charlemagne coming out swinging on Biden. I mean, man, imagine what Kanye's going to
Well,
say.
look, this is what I'm. Well, no, I think I think I know what interview you were he did an interview. I forget what news outlet it was. He had it, or it may have been CNN. It may have been CNN.
Oh,
I'm
it's
not sure.
funny.
Which no, because he's like because like I said, he's into, he wants, he's very big on, the African American agenda and trying to, better the African American community. I he definitely has a different vision than we do, but most certain, like, whatever. But at least he recognizes that you can't talk about bettering that situation or improving that situation without from a democratic perspective, without understanding that Joseph Biden was a huge cause for why this shit was happening. Like,
He said this in an interview with The Hill.
yeah.
Another big thing I want to talk about, because I see now her husband trending, Scarborough. Let's talk about. I'm gonna steal a term from Steve Bann's podcast that somebody thought of on there. Morning Karen. We have Morning Karen now. Did you see that?
What?
Did you see what Mika was saying on Twitter? Mika Brzezinski from Morning Joe.
No, what she said.
Oh.
She was going nuts, and I had fun with her on Twitter, on the Uncensored America account, actually, because it was related to free speech. She was complaining to the CEO of Twitter, saying, "You need to get rid of Trump off of your platform right now. He's evil and dangerous and all these awful things." Those weren't her exact words, but I'm going to find them in a second. But she was going full Karen. Like, and people were ripping her in the comments about that. Like, she was just complaining over and over again. Like, and I retweeted on the Uncensored America account. I was like, I said, at Mika Brzezinski wants to talk to the CEO of censorship right now, and she wants Trump banned right now. And that's what she was saying. I'm gonna find it, but
She's calling up the manager. She's going at it.
it's funny. I don't know why Joe Scarborough was trending, but I'm gonna check that out in a second. Psycho Joe.
I
Um,
mean, didn't Donald Trump say he was gonna, like, somebody should investigate him for some murder or something like that?
yes, it's so funny because there was like this. The story basically is like he had this intern in his office because he used to be in Congress, Joe Scarborough, and this intern just like mysteriously died. I think it was even in his office. I'm not certain on that, but it's like one of the weirdest things that nobody knows nothing about. It's some cold case, and it's just weird. Now, so I think Trump, either he knows something or he's just fucking with him. He's just trolling him. He's like, oh, somebody should, investigate that. What'd Psycho Joe do? I can't find the first tweet that Mika sent because it might have been from a little while back, but she said, at Jack, please take my call today. Please stop allowing your platform policies to be abused by the day. It's called libel. I will be reaching out to here it is. I'll be reaching out to the head of Twitter about their policies being
So
violated every day by President Trump. Hope my call is taken. Please retweet if you agree.
what what that's some grandstanding shit, right? So look, she's yeah, that's some grandstanding shit. She knows there's no fruit to that. There's like first off, Mika Brzezinski, Donald Trump, Jack Dorsey, Twitter, they're all political figures. So you can't really sue, Times v. Sullivan, right? You can't sue public figures for libel. Like, or there's the the um the precedent would have to be so big, right? The standard would have to be so out there that it would warrant it. Like, and it's never met. It's really never met. Like,
Oh my
calling somebody a
god.
loser or fucking, no, that's not good enough.
Are you guys seen this? This is why it's trending. This Trump tweet is hilarious from 5 hours ago. He retweets a tweet. It's the tweet is from Matt Coach, and he's saying Trump calls for investigation to Joe Scarborough for murder of staffer in 2011. Trump retweets this and he says, "A blow to her head? Question mark. Body found under his desk? Question mark. Left Congress suddenly? Question mark. I can't read it with a straight face. Big topic of discussion in Florida. ... And he's a nut job with bad ratings. Keep digging. Use forensic geniuses." And then Cernovich replies, "No chill mode." Oh my god. That's hilarious. See, I love that. That sort of trolliness. Oh my god. This is beautiful. A blow to her head. Oh my god. Like,
Is
it's
he
just.
still trying to go and like impeach Trump again?
Who's doing that now?
I heard that like there was something with the Supreme Court bringing that shit up.
I didn't hear about that.
Hold on, let me look up the article.
Oh my god, it's so funny.
Jesus. This shit again.
I love it.
Why? Like, I don't. It's just like I'm getting tired of it. But like, if they want to do it, then it's like whatever. I mean, we'll take you destroy your own fucking polls, but go for it. Like, if you want to ruin your fucking elections, go for it. By the way, yeah, I think I do. I feel like they need to win. Like, we need to win, and by we I mean the Republicans. I should stop saying we.
No, we's a good word.
Republican, they have to take over, have to get the House, have to get Senate. Like, if you're really going to be able to do what you want to do, right? And if they do, then oh yeah, the Dems are in some deep shit, like real deep shit, like grade A deep shit.
Gotta take it back. Gotta get Loomer in Congress, and you'd have just fireworks across the board.
That's just, yeah. C-SPAN would probably be the most fucking watched network in the United States. It's probably not even. I don't know.
I just can't believe, like, we have a president trolling somebody and trolling somebody about killing an intern. I mean, like, the shit we see today is just, it's on another level. And then, like I said, we get some really good people in Congress. Like, we have Matt Gaetz, he's great. But you get people like Laura Loomer in there, oh my god. I mean, the fighting you'd see between AOC and Laura Loomer would be hilarious. But maybe some, like, actual common ground, actually. Because they're both populist in a way. You know, you could actually have something they might both agree on, like Ted Cruz was at one point. House Democrats tell Supreme Court they may impeach Trump again by 2021. Yeah, I actually believe it. They might. They might impeach him over the coronavirus thing, too.
Yeah.
They'll probably find one thing. And maybe that's what they're setting up here. They're teeing it up.
They'll try.
Oh, yeah, and I love how Nancy Pelosi is literally worried about Trump worried about his health. She's concerned greatly about Trump's health.
What about the other guy? What about the other guy? You're going to talk about. You're talking about fucking the president's health. Like, look at Joe Biden. You're pushing some dude. You're pushing some dude with fucking obvious cognitive decline.
And then she fat shames Trump. She fucking fat shames him on CNN.
Morbidly, shut the fuck up.
What the fuck is Stacey Abrams?
Yeah.
Oh my
Did you see what the
God.
Washington Post did with her?
What?
They made her like Superwoman. I'm not making this up. Washington Post.
Calling fucking fat, and then like she's better than a fucking doctor too. Like, she has more knowledge than a doctor. I like to go see her fucking her medical practitioner license.
Dude, look at this picture I posted. Look at this shit. This is what the Washington Post had in their
He's
Stacey Abrams,
an
like,
ugly fucking person, like in politics right now.
they had this,
Like, look
like,
at fucking feet. You could land an airplane between those things.
We need to get right, like, and going back to what I was saying earlier, we have to fight. We have to fight for this election because
well, I think we
the
all,
Dems are coming out, and it's going to be. I guaranteed it's going to be worse than 2016.
I think the
Guaranteed.
problem
The
I'm,
Dems are coming full force, and the pressure is going to be worse than 2016. One, because obviously Donald Trump's the incumbent, right? Like, I don't think anybody took Donald Trump seriously on the other side in 2016, but now that he's an incumbent, they know that he's obviously capable of winning an election. So the heat's going to be on. And two, uh, China China's going to be pumping all kinds of crazy money. They're going to be pumping all kinds of crazy money. They're going to go. Their propaganda campaigns are going to be full swing. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be fucking nuts.
I think a lot of like, all Republicans say we need to fight, but I think some of them don't fight. Some of them fight in the wrong
Few of
ways.
them do. The ones that are fighting, that are talking about fighting, they are fighting. It's just the problem is they're too few. So you're talking about a couple of people are
Mm.
saying it, but you're talking about, you know, 200 plus seats in Congress that these Republicans have, and like only a handful of people are really honestly fighting. And I feel like even with those people that are actually fighting, a handful of those people are really doing it because Trump is kind of forcing their hand, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of fucking fake Republicans out there, and I think that's a real fucking problem. And I
Yeah,
talk about this with the college Republicans, and
that's exactly what, like we were talking about earlier. Look, we have this in our own university, right? We're experiencing all this shit here. Like, these people just want to, they just want to do the status quo. They want to do the socials. They want to, they want to just like kind of be non-confrontational and play the soft approach, and it's like you can't do that with a presidential fucking election coming up this November. You can't do it. They're coming. They're coming. Like, the Democrats are coming.
yeah, and they'll fucking fight with the gloves off.
They will go. Yeah, they'll fight gloves off, and they will stoop to any fucking low they possibly can. They don't. They're willing to go to the depths of the sewer to go, you know, to get where they want to go. Right.
That's what I respect about Trump, though, is he's not afraid to go and fucking punch below the belt when they do it.
Yeah. The problem is he's surrounded by people that aren't willing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They don't stand up for him. Like,
yeah, that's the problem, man.
That's,
you need to get fucking politicians. You need to get fucking influencers, and do what we can over here. But
I don't know if we want to talk about the Takeout Tuesday. It's happening locally at all, but what I know you were talking about this, Alex. Because speaking of punching below the belt, what do we think? Because I know you probably know a lot about this now, Alex, about the Keemstar versus Ethan Klein H3H3
yeah,
drama.
so they've had some beef for some while, but like basically H3H3 went over and he Karen to fucking Keemstar's sponsor Gamer Fuel to go drop them, and this is going to be.
And they did.
What?
And they did.
And they did. And that's like, this is probably the most scary thing for content developers, because what happened right now, it probably seems like just drama as usual, but no, this is a new level of escalation. We have not had it before where, stupid fucking internet arguments devolve to the point where like you will start going after people's sponsors. now because fucking Ethan Klein, fucking H3H3, the fucking sympathizer, goes out and he starts to go and get his little fucking diaper all shitty, and he goes and complains to Gamer Fuel. Now you're going to see other people start doing it, and what's going to end up happening is we're going to have another whole level of fucking demonetization on YouTube. And even outside of YouTube, you're going to have people get demonetized. Like, it's going to make people scared of, podcasts and newscasts and all that stuff, because companies, they're a sucker for a good image. And, like BuzzFeed and like Slate, they've done this stuff before, but this is the first time I've seen another YouTuber do it. Ethan Klein, you're a piece of shit. I hope you fucking lose your channel after this. I hope someone does this to your sponsor, honestly, because you fucking deserve it for starting this shit. If you want to go and have a fucking beef with them, do it, but don't go after someone's sponsors. That's like hitting someone the fucking balls. Don't do it.
I think.
Now, should the right start doing this to the left, though?
No one's gonna care. Like, I mean, outside
they don't give a shit. Like, the left doesn't give a shit.
No. I'm saying, should we boycott their sponsors? Should we go after their shit?
They don't care.
No.
This
You're
is
not
what
listening.
I'm talking about.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Let's say you have, I'll give a better example, as in, the left organized people to go after Tucker Carlson, Bill O'Reilly's advertisers. Do the exact same thing to Rachel Maddow's advertisers or to somebody else's. No, but they care about money.
Are not going to give a shit.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. No, you're not. Boycotts are effective.
Look at the because there's an overall there's more than one revenue stream going with these fucking conglomerates. They don't give a fuck. If they're like, the advertising
then why did they
revenue
drop Bill
goes down,
O'Reilly?
I swear to fucking God, they're not. You're not getting it. There's more. Like, look at NBC. There's more than one revenue stream going on with NBC. If a couple people drop their fucking ads off of MSNBC, they're not going to be that fucking pouting about it, because there's so much goddamn revenue going on with Comcast. They've got tons of fucking multi-billion-dollar Chinese business going on there. They don't give a shit. They're raping people on the fucking Comcast cable bills. They don't give a shit. Okay, if fucking some pharmaceutical company decides to drop their fucking ad on the Rachel Maddow show, no one gives a shit. Okay, overall, they don't give a shit. Would they rather have them?
If you go after enough advertisers on somebody in particular, enough that they, or maybe not even maybe not
with
NBC,
Fox, it's more important because there's not that many revenue streams going on with Fox News. So if you go after their advertisers, it's going to punch them in the nuts a lot harder than it is an MSNBC or CNN, because those two are tied to like bigger conglomerates.
Yeah, but
with
so is
more
Fox.
than one revenue stream.
Yeah, so is Fox.
Now, see, I think this might work for like a BuzzFeed or a Slate or a Vice.
Yeah, it's going to work for smaller people.
Yeah, but those are owned by bigger things too. Like, I think one of those is owned by CBS, I think. I think, look,
I think it's small enough where they would just go cut, if it's causing the bigger business more harm. Like BuzzFeed or Vice or Vox or Slate, they could go and cut them off if it's too much harm than good. Because they're probably
That's what I'm saying. Even though you have a bigger thing, you can still start chipping away at it. The problem is conservatives don't boycott. It's not that the left doesn't care. It's that conservatives don't care enough to boycott or organize them.
Go to any fucking gun forum, man. A lot of people don't even go to fucking Walmart anymore.
Well, see, Walmart, I think, is a little too big of a thing to tackle. I think they should be. I mean, that's a good start, but you need to be more sort of organized with these boycotts, and I think that's the right's problem, because boycotts affect what matters. The only thing that matters. Politics don't matter.
It depends.
What matters is the money. If you're getting the money sucking out, then you're hitting something. But you gotta get enough people.
To support a company like fucking Chick-fil-A or something.
What was that?
I think we better, instead of to boycott certain companies, to support companies that outwardly represent your value. Companies like Chick-fil-A, companies like Rural King, the places that are the opposite of the other ones. And the other, like, it does the same sort of effect, but instead of just being a negative, it's a
I
positive
think
for.
you have to do both. I
I
think you
think
can't do one or the other. You have to do both.
I think it's a lot. I think doing it this way, at least to start, would be good, and then you can start getting a fucking chain going on.
Cause like, look, Keemstar, is he conservative? Not really, to be honest.
He's a fucking YouTuber,
Yeah, he's just a YouTuber, and they got a boycott to pull
because
an advertiser.
That's different. That is completely fucking different,
No,
dude.
there's a bunch of things you can point to. You point to that.
YouTube,
You can point to
YouTube's owned
Fox
by
News. You can
look,
go to a bunch of things that are owned by conglomerates. Fox
dude,
News is owned by 21st Century Fox. It's owned by
dude,
what's the guy's name?
dude.
It's the same thing.
YouTube is owned by Look, YouTube is owned by Google. Google
Yeah,
relies on advertising revenue.
yeah.
That's like their main source of income is advertising revenue. Their AdSense is like tied to damn near everything that Google fucking does. Okay. So if you fuck with their ad money, they're going to crush you. Okay. They don't give a shit. Like the cable networks don't give a flying fuck,
Yeah, they
right?
do.
Outside
Yeah,
of
they
Fox
do.
News. I swear to God.
They do. I mean,
Well, no,
Fox News is owned by, look, Fox News is owned by massive conglomerates too, by Rupert Murdoch. If they lost one little thing, does it really affect them? Not really, but they still cave to it. They cave to the pressure of boycotts.
well, I
They
think
don't have multiple. They don't have multiple sources of revenue. Not like they're not like I
Well, they
swear to
do.
God.
They have
It's
their
not like
website. They have Fox, whatever their streaming thing is called. They have
did
their
it
cable
But how do
channel.
you think they do that anymore? I think that got sold
no.
to Disney.
No, that got sold.
What? What did?
All
The whole
Fox.
Disney bought Fox's fucking catalog. Disney bought Fox's fucking film and show catalog. Fucking the what was it? There's a couple of other things that got sold. Like Rupert, so the only thing that Murdoch kept was Fox News and like a couple of other fucking stations. He doesn't own, like, it's owned by one guy, whereas MSNBC is owned by fucking Comcast, right? The one of the biggest cable, one of the most biggest cable platforms on earth, right? You've got you've got
Yeah,
CNN that's owned
but the
by
boycotts that
AT&T,
happened
who
were
has
before
they have
this.
they have satellite television, they got telephone, they've got all kinds of other shit that they're getting revenue on. They don't, as it's a small piece of the big fucking picture for them.
Yeah,
They don't.
but that doesn't matter because what I'm saying is when the boycotts happened against Fox, that was before Disney scooped them up. That was long before it. That was when they were owned by 21st Century Fox um, or whoever their owner was at that time. They were under the big
Well, what all happened? Did Tucker still? Tucker still has his show.
well, yeah, he's lucky, but Bill doesn't.
Well, yeah, Bill did a lot of other shit too.
I know, but they started by going after the advertisers. And I forget the timeline of those events, but um, I'm trying to think of other boycotts have happened. But you look at this shit, and it's effective. It really is.
Well, yeah, but I feel that.
Like, look at the BDS movement. There's a whole movement on boycotting Israel.
And look, Israel's still there.
Yeah, for now. I mean, they always will, but you know.
Have bipartisan support for it, unless it's something really tiny, like an individual YouTube channel, or like fucking InfoWars, where it's his own shit. Like, if you're gonna go after the big guys, you need to have a lot more ammo to boycott them.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, is you need a significant effort. But
I
again,
think better to go and put that same effort into propping up something like ONN or whatever, or One America News.
well, and see, and then that, yeah, I mean,
Because if
yes, but
the amount of people do that, like they'd be probably right up there with fucking Fox. And they don't give a fuck. They do what like they still they're still sticking to their guns because they know that's what they're going off of. And you get advertisers who either are against Democrat causes or don't give a shit to go and advertise on them, and then you'll get more of those companies to start coming around. You get more people like Chick-fil-A, at least how it used to be, who are resistant to the Democrat boycotts, who are operating specifically on the market.
Protests are fucking retarded. Okay, I'm sorry.
protests are
Protests
different
are
from
fucking.
boycotts because protests were just virtue signaling unless it's on a large scale.
Or if you're boycotting is fucking dumb too.
No, I
Like,
disagree. 100%
no,
disagree.
well, we're gonna have to agree to disagree.
Only work in like specific small locations. Like look at like Martin Luther King. It was like that one city where they boycotted like the one bus station. That'll work because that's a small geographic area. You can't boycott Comcast because in a lot of places that's your only shot of having internet or television or whatever that has any decent speed.
And in a
So
lot of cases, that it has the reverse effect. In a lot of cases, it has the reverse fucking effect.
Which is
You have
what?
look at what?
What is that? What's the reverse effect?
It'll actually, like, if you boycott a specific show or or product or whatever, the boycotts actually have a fucking reverse effect usually. You remember when they boycotted Chick-fil-A? That was one of the most popular days of their fucking franchise. You remember when they boycotted Nike because of Colin Kaepernick?
I was thinking
Those
that,
fucking
yeah.
shoes started selling like hotcakes. You were like,
Did they?
nobody, yes. The stock went up like fucking 8% or some
Well,
shit.
nobody.
It's fucking retarded.
Well, see, the problem also is there is no effective. Because here's the thing also with a boycott. I'm not saying a boycott should shut down a company necessarily, but what you can do is get them to change how they operate. So if Colin Kaepernick, the smart boycott, like with the Betsy Ross shoes, conservatives should have, on a mass scale, refused to buy them, and sent letters to Nike, do a whole bunch of things. I don't know. Raise a lot of noise, raise a social media movement, push really hard, put a lot of pressure on them,
No,
and
that's a waste of
discourage
time.
them from actually doing this stuff again. Because
But
you get a lot of bad, well, like even like the Gillette thing. Remember Gillette did that ad? There was like this feminist ad that was saying how awful men were and how you should use a Gillette razor to be a true feminist. Like people still bought Gillettes after that. Like you gotta stop doing that.
but no, you bash them. You bash them online. You don't boycott them. You just bash them
No.
online.
Well,
They'll be like,
what good
look,
does that do? That's just words.
you
You need to
no,
hit the money. Hit the money.
because if you make fun of them, right? If you just make fun of them, you don't boycott. You don't boycott them directly. You just make fucking fun of their
Wait, so
shit.
that is what Gillette's gonna go, oh my god, people are saying mean words on the internet, but we're making more money, so we're gonna change our minds on this. No, they're not going
Well,
to. You have to
no,
do
because
both. You have to hit the money and you have to hit them with PR constantly. If you do both,
no.
then they
Well, you
go,
do.
shit, we have a bad image, we're losing money, oh no, we gotta change course. That's
you
what
need
you
to give
gotta
someone
do.
something to go to. Like with Comcast, until we have nationwide like 5G or some other like form that's not just like local monopolies of Comcast, you can't really do that. But with like CNN, you can
I'm
do
not saying. Yeah,
listen,
I'm not saying bad PR doesn't work. Of course it works.
No, I didn't say
But
that, but you're saying we
yeah,
should just say things on the
boycott
internet, and that's not going to
is
do anything.
stupid.
No, it's not, because it hits their
Boycotts are
money.
stupid.
No, you have to hit the money, or else what are they going to feel?
Well, yeah, but
You
that's
think words
I'm
on the
not
internet
saying.
are going to change their mind, but
No, I'm
hitting their
saying.
money isn't?
backfire, and it can backfire
Yeah,
spectacular.
It
I'm
could,
saying
but
that.
I
Yeah,
don't think that means
absolutely.
boycotts are
Like
dumb.
if you want to put negative PR campaigns out against somebody, that's great. But I'm saying boycotts. Like if somebody's saying boycott the fucking whatever product, that's like the stupidest shit ever.
No.
Because it doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
Well,
It
if it
doesn't
doesn't work,
work
then why
on
do people keep
certain
doing it?
companies. It will work on small scale.
Yeah, if that's all somebody has, and if it's on a small scale, then maybe it works. But if they're a fucking big conglomerate company, it's not gonna fucking dent them. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah, you
Look,
can't.
Well, they
Nike
do
does.
care
Nike
about their
doesn't give a
image.
shit. You know how much
Well,
money they make,
no,
and
well,
then they make gobs of money, and they have Chinese sweatshops and shit. You think it give a shit? You don't give a fuck.
The problem with Nike is if you're going to boycott Nike, you need to go and tell people where to go to instead.
yes, that's a
Yeah,
good point
you
too. You need
do,
an
but I mean,
alternative.
you can't. You're not fucking with the swoosh. It's not happening.
Wait,
Well,
you don't have a competitor that can actually compete. One.
They
yeah.
exist. They already
Yeah,
exist.
but they're not the same level as
Adidas,
Nike.
Under Armour, fucking all these other companies already fucking exist, and yet
Yeah,
uh
but
Nike
Nike's
is still king
very
shit.
yeah, but
Like he's
Nike
still
is like the premier, like when you think of
Well,
sports, you think
well,
of
what
Nike.
buys Nike? Basketball players. What are basketball players most likely to be?
it's not just basketball, it's soccer. It's international. Like they have so
I,
much shit.
that's another thing too. If it's an international company, good luck with that because it
Yeah,
has a U.S. company.
exactly.
People who are conservative,
They've got multiple streams. You think they give a flying fuck about you think they give a flying fuck about Colin Kaepernick when they have when they have kits, when they have a Barcelona kit that's pushing their shit, right? They're pushing hundred billions of dollars of revenue with FC Barcelona, or if they're pushing Manchester United, or fucking like some of the biggest clubs,
fucking,
European clubs on earth.
fucking basketball players, man. They're
They
not.
give a fuck.
Yeah, but the
Huh?
problem more is that most people that buy Nike are probably going to be left wing. Like I rarely see conservatives wearing Nike
Maybe
shit.
they are, maybe they aren't.
And that is
Like
that's the hard part about boycott there is that you don't have enough people that are conservative, they're consuming the product to actually show a difference here.
Well,
And
yeah,
that's
that's true too. I feel like if there was like a gun company or something that voted for Obama, I don't know, or like erase support for something that you don't like, that like if you want to have a conservative boycott one of those, that's fine.
yeah.
If you want to have a conservative boycott something that conservatives actually partake in, that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's not going to really see like MSNBC. Most conservatives probably don't even watch that. They probably listen to fucking Fox.
yeah,
So
that's true. But again, that's why well look at even Fox. And I know there's a lot of factors here, but Fox is a conservative audience, and
Mm-hmm.
yet a bunch of leftists got to control what a conservative audience watched.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. That's what I'm saying. There is an effective component to it, and I know Fox is a little different situation than other news organizations, but it does
well, who were
show
the
it is
advertisers that they
possible.
got pulled?
It was a lot. I will have to check it
Who?
right now.
Who?
Let's see.
And who and who did it really affect?
Yeah, well, lost Bill in his job, and
Bill, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Bill O'Reilly didn't lose his fucking
well, it
job
wasn't
because
over,
people
but this was a
advertisers were
part
getting
of it. This
pulled.
was a part of
He
it.
was getting pulled. No, Bill O'Reilly got pulled because the lawsuit settlements were exceeding what he was pulling in,
Yeah, because
right?
the advertisers were leaving, so he
But
wasn't
they
pulling
were
in the same amount of
Well,
money.
it was also like an ethical thing. Like the
no,
dudes.
it was the settlements. It was the settlements and it was the legal fees that were tied to the fucking settlements that crippled Bill O'Reilly. It
Yeah, and
really
if he has
wasn't like he was
advertisers, they could pay for it and they wouldn't have to worry about it.
well,
Conservatives didn't even fucking like Bill
A
O'Reilly
lot,
too.
no,
Like
he
he
was a,
really ain't much
no,
pro gun.
yeah, it
no, he
wasn't
was
the
a
fucking
prime time
advertisers that
slot.
did Bill O'Reilly in.
He lost 62 advertisers.
The
62.
he will, yeah,
Hyundai,
but the problem is they're
Mercedes-Benz,
Fox
My
News.
Pillow.
They will get more like
No, they didn't. He lost Mercedes, Hyundai, My Pillow, Pfizer, Lending Tree. I'm just naming a few there here. He lost huge
but that
advertisers.
wasn't the reason why Bill O'Reilly got the fuck out.
It was because of sexual
It
harassment.
was direct
It
sexual.
is,
He had so many. He had a number of sexual harassment
yes,
settlements. We're not talking allegations. We're talking settlements.
but if you're going to argue that it was because of the expensive settlements that they got rid of him for, well, and
Oh no, like the dude was a fucking. He was doing that stuff.
no,
You
I
can't
know.
really defend that. I don't care if you're conservative. I don't care if you're liberal. You get that many fucking settlements out there. Like and you're losing the company money from the settlements and then the
There you go,
advertisers.
losing money. That's what I'm trying to say.
But
And look, I don't know what would have happened, but let's just think about it. If he had all these 62 advertisers hauling in lots of money for Fox, sticking with him despite all this, I think the decision to fire him would have had some more thought to it. I don't
No,
think it
I
would have
think
been as simple.
he still would have fucking.
I think he still can. He
I
still
don't
can.
know. I don't know. I really,
No,
I'm just gonna be honest, because
we'll have to agree to disagree on that one because like I don't think I think that was one of those
because he's
things where
had
you
this
had so
before.
many people. You had so many. It wasn't these weren't just Me Too allegations. These were lawsuit settlements.
Yeah, it's more like who is that dude from Alabama? Fucking Roy Moore. The same sort of shit there. Like when you have that much shit going on for you,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know,
Bill
it's
O'Reilly had 5 women that received about $13 million from
okay. Yeah,
21st Century
that's a lot
Fox.
of money for
That's a
nothing.
lot of goddamn
Yes,
money in
but
addition to the 25 million a year he was getting paid.
but here's the other thing. This wasn't the only time he settled. I'm going to find the exact number, but I
Yeah, so
remember
that you
years ago.
That's what I'm saying.
No,
of
no,
bullshit going on.
let me finish. Years ago, it happened. He sold for a lot of money. They didn't fire him. Yes, it was a
Times were
worse
different back
situation
then.
then, but what I'm saying is the advertisers pulling played a role in this. They did play a role. I mean, look, was it worse now? Obviously, but he had a big settlement before. Years ago, Fox paid it off and looked the other way. It was like as it was nothing. Yes, we live in a different time when this happened, but again, the advertisers weren't pulling at that time too. Was it the
You don't think
main thing that got him
so that
canned?
was a first strike. So what you don't think that wasn't a first strike? Like, oh, like you don't think that these things don't carry on? Like it's
Well,
like, oh,
no, I'm just saying that
if
there
you
were
got the
more
first
fact.
allegation and it was settled and it was like moved past and then he does it again, that's what we call a pattern, okay? That's a
Well, it's not that
pattern.
he. I don't think he necessarily did it again. It's just like a bunch more women came out, and again the advertisers pulled and they lost
That's
a
called a
lot of
pattern.
money.
It's called a pattern.
Well, it's called they did a coordinated. Like, look, were these
Who
women?
was that guy who like left the Pittsburgh Steelers? That was it. Something Brown.
Antonio Brown.
Yeah, like that shit. Like it kind of sounds like that. There's a fucking pattern of bullshit that goes around that guy.
No,
Yeah.
I know, and look, I'm not saying Bill didn't do these things. I'm saying that what really like the first time this the Fox, I think also Fox might have known about this too before. I mean, it's possible. But when he first did settlements, they were fine. They had all their advertisers, but like the left knows that if you get these advertisers to pull, you can really hit them with it. You can really, really, really hit them where it hurts. And I mean, Tucker Carlson also lost a bunch of advertisers, but he's still on because he does still get high ratings, and maybe some came back. But he could be on the chopping block
Going to
soon
come
too.
back. They're going to come back. Like, look, if all you have is just like you created a bad tweet or something like that, that doesn't fucking matter because they're Fox News. They have ratings. Like every show has good ratings. The if one company decides not to advertise, it's like, oh, boo-hoo, the next one's
Oh
coming,
yeah,
right? There's a lot of
you have
them
to hit a
that come.
bunch of advertisers. That's the thing. That's why
Yeah,
with Bill, they
but
didn't go after one. They
yeah,
hit
but
60.
you can't. But it's not like they lose advertisers. The advertisers come and go, right? But it's that with the salary, with the sexual assault settlements, right? That's what did them in, right?
Yeah, but I know. But I'm saying is there's a combination of things. The sexual assault ultimately did him in, but the advertisers was a big push to the grave for him. And look, here's the other thing too. I don't think conservatives have ever put. Let's use who's somebody that's wacky on TV on the left. I don't want to use Rachel Maddow. She's not really the most scary person on there, but
Chris Cuomo.
let's look at Cuomo. what if you look again, because this hasn't happened, so I wonder how it would work out. What if you got 60, 70 advertisers pull off Chris Cuomo's show? You, I don't know what he said or would do, but you call them. Because here's the other thing, too. When their people have sexual assault allegations, oh, they get off scot-free. You know, again, because you don't fight back against it. If, let's say, Chris Cuomo got a sexual assault allegation, you hit their advertisers, you get 70 of them to pull, I think CNN would drop him. Because I'm trying to think of some people that have been hit with sexual assault allegations that they let fly, but we all know that happens. We know there's a double standard.
Well, look at Matt Lauer. He had quite a few. He had quite a
Yeah.
few allegations and settlements, like multi-million-dollar settlements, and they swept him under the rug and fucking covered for his ass.
Yeah, they covered for him. I mean,
Yeah.
he was like, I forget even if he. Let me see about when he left. But when he left,
when there's a pattern, and it's known that there's a pattern, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, well, and I think they were also. See, because, well, here's the other thing, too, of NBC that's weird, is I've heard some sketchy things about their ex-CEO. I don't know if that would have anything to do with any of this, but, it's... Like
Are you talking about their ex-president, Andy Lack?
No, Steve Burke, I think his name is. Yeah, that's what I think I'm thinking of.
But no, I know Andy Lack. He was he was one of the guys that got fired, I guess, recently. Like he was the one that pulled the trigger on the Matt Lauer firing, but he was one of the guys that covered for a lot of people, a lot of the bullshit too. So it's like, yeah, like when I guess there was something that came out, like a report that came out that was like, oh, NBC covered up for a whole lot of shit, and then it was like, oh, you guys are fucking toast.
Oh, here's another one. Don Lemon had sexual assault allegations. Apparently claims he was sexually assaulted himself, but yeah, like see, like there's people, because I remember this in the Me Too thing
you're
coming.
kind of backing up, like, look, because CNN, again, it doesn't have a lot. They don't rely on CNN's revenue. Like they don't rely on CNN's revenue because there's so much else that's going on with the conglomerate that is AT&T. There's like, just like MSNBC, right? There's so much going on with Comcast, right? They don't give a they can like, oh wow, there's a multi-million-dollar thing. But if I'm pulling in, like, let me take a look.
Well, wasn't there a BuzzFeed writer that had sexual assault allegations against them?
Maybe, but BuzzFeed's tiny.
Yeah, and I doubt they fired the person. Let me see. Tony Robbins? Is that it?
The Comcast pulls in $108 billion in revenue. You think they give a fuck about your Don Lemon? Or they give a fuck about Rachel Maddow's $20 million salary? Like if she just went and fucking grabbed a chick by the pussy, right? You think they're going to give a flying shit about that? They don't care. They're going to be like, look, I got over $100 billion in revenue. You think I give a flying fuck? Nah, not so much.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the BuzzFeed one because I forget who it was, but I remember that coming out during the Me Too thing. But
AT&T pulls in $181 billion in revenue. You think they get?
How much does Fox pull in revenue?
Huh?
How much does Fox pull in revenue?
Oh, let's take a gander, shall we?
12 billion roughly. Well, 11 billion, 11.5 billion.
Are you fucking high? Really? You're gonna really compare those? That's like, boy.
Well, what was the other one? What was Comcast?
You've got Comcast at 108. You've got fucking AT&T at 181 billion. and you got Fox at like what 8? You just said 18.
Yeah. Well, how much does the Murdoch family have in revenue? Because that's really because they own
No,
a lot. That's the other thing too. Is like Murdoch's. I think.
no, because it falls on the corporation. It doesn't fall on the individual. It falls on
Well,
the corporation.
well,
Yes,
kind of. But
yes.
But it's Rupert Murdoch's
From a
corporation.
liability perspective, it falls on the insurance company of the corporation, or it falls under the corporation itself.
But see,
Doesn't
even at
fall.
those
Doesn't
numbers,
really
okay.
fall.
Well,
It
let's.
doesn't really fall in the Murdoch family unless they like it might affect their share price or something like that. But who gives a shit?
Okay, well, let's go along that logic then before we close out here.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, let's say Fox has $11.5 billion in revenue. Bill O'Reilly loses 60 of his advertisers. Does that affect that 11.5 billion?
Well, that depends on if they get other.
Does it
Uh,
affect it just at all? Like, does that have a significant effect?
but which came first, the chicken or the egg?
Oh,
Did they did they lose the advertisers because of the sexual harassment lawsuits, or did the or because of the pattern of the sexual harassment lawsuits, or the other way around?
um, if I remember correctly, I think there were.
Because here's what I'm thinking. Okay, if I could replace, I could replace Bill O'Reilly with somebody, and they're still gonna get viewers because it's Fox News and it's gonna be a 9 o'clock slot. Like somebody's going to watch that show,
Not
whatever is going on.
necessarily, because I don't think I could be wrong, but
Tucker Carlson, good.
I don't know
Tucker
if he gets as
Carlson
good of
was
views as
crushing it.
Bill.
Tucker Carlson was crushing it. Still is.
Well, I remember when they were doing some transitions, like at one point they had I think they had Megyn Kelly on at
Look,
9, and then they had the
hey,
5. Like, you can't
look,
just put
yeah.
anything
So
there.
the replacements, right? You had Tucker Carlson. He replaced Megyn Kelly. Crushed it.
No, he replaced
Fucking,
Bill.
he did. Oh well, they maneuvered it, and then Lauren Ingram replaced one of those two, right? Because those two happened kind of around similar times, right? So they're all crushing it, right? They're all crushing it in the ratings, crushing them. Hannity crushing it. I mean, he's just crushing it anyway. He's been crushing it for a long time. But I'm saying the brand makes the personality on Fox News. It does, unless you're Hannity. Like Hannity's pretty fantastic, but like it's the brand. The brand is what drives up the ratings.
Well, and I think the Fox brand has been hurting, to be honest, ever since some of these big people
Who
leave.
says who?
Says a lot of conservatives.
Says who?
A lot of conservatives. Like, we talk
Um,
about it all the time. Fox News
apparently,
is like,
apparently, you're going to have to tell that to the ratings. The company
yeah,
that makes the ratings, the
well,
Nielsen's
I don't know if
Nielsen
Tucker's were as high
SoundScan.
as Bill's. Were they as high as Bill's?
Yeah, well, like, yeah, I think. Hold on,
Well, when they were on at the same time, I think this was on.
because they were saying that Tucker Carlson was killing it when he first
Okay,
came on the
O'Reilly
scene. He was
brought in
killing it.
3.3 million viewers in his final month. That's in his final month too, when he was losing his advertisers. Tucker
Mhm.
Carlson averages 2.9 million, so he's catching up.
Are you are you fucking serious right now?
What?
That's still better.
Yeah,
That's
but I
still
don't know if
better
he still
when you look
has
at the
those right.
overall picture. That
Wait,
it's
Phil,
still better.
wait. That was in 2018. I don't know if his ratings are still as good. They could be better. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, is this a lasting thing? That was right when he got on too. So there could be people that were just interested that tuned in. I don't know if those are his ratings right now. Let's see. This is from April 2020. Let's see if he's getting more than 3.3 million. Tucker Carlson. Okay, he has 4.6 million. So yeah, he's getting more, and so is Hannity.
Jesus. Jesus, Sean.
What?
No, I'm telling you, the brand makes the personalities. They do. Because it's the platform. It's the platform. They're gonna get their audience. They're
Well,
going to get their audience.
not really, because now you have more alternatives out there, like Steven Crowder growing and a bunch of other people.
Apparently, look, you just said that your own words. You was just saying Tucker Carlson is getting 4 million, in ratings, right?
Yeah, I know, but what I'm also saying is that I don't think this is going to last. Because, like I said, there are alternatives coming up. They're doing really well and arguably getting better ratings than Fox at certain
Now,
hours.
now, like, of course, you could argue that. But the numbers don't justify it yet. I mean,
Well, because, like, and
like,
I
look,
know this is anecdotal, but, like,
hypothetically, right? Hypothetically, or philosophically, you're likely correct philosophically, because there are other alternatives, and there are other good alternatives too. Like, and I agree from a philosophical perspective. However, the numbers don't justify it just yet. And we don't go by hypotheticals, right? We go by what's actually in front of us.
well, yes, but right in front of us is also Steven Crowder has probably, like, I mean, it's hard to view these metrics, but he's gotten more ratings on some videos than Tucker's ever gotten. So, like, what I'm saying is, even if Fox is up, oh, and here's the other thing too. We are in a time when Trump's in office. I think when Bill left, it was like halfway through Trump's term, or I forget exactly. But again, the timing could matter, because maybe Bill's ratings were higher when Obama was in office, and Tucker's ratings that are right now. I mean, yeah, I don't know what Bill Riley's like peak ratings were. I mean, to be honest, that's maybe the fairest thing is to compare Bill's peak ratings
Bill,
to
yeah,
Tucker's.
Bill Riley was the one that interviewed Obama in the Oval Office. He was
Yeah,
that was where Obama had uh, where he's like, where Bill Riley was like, no, there's no corruption," and then but Obama's like, not a smidgen, not a smidgen of corruption. Yeah.
yeah. The highest actually I'm finding now, O'Reilly factor. Well, this was right before he was leaving. It said his views average at 3.7, so I was even higher than what I was finding before. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, like, yeah, Tucker's are higher now, but I mean, like, again, this is just vibes I'm getting. I just don't see as many people. Again, you can say what
And
about
his
the
salary is
numbers, but
probably not as high as Riley's, and
yeah, but also
uh, his liabilities are probably not as high, or
that's what I
as
was gonna
not as,
say. Yeah,
that's
well, that's what
even
I think.
he could he could he's the guy that could have less viewers than Bill O'Reilly and still win, like, and still be a win for Fox News, right? Because of because of the low operating costs.
Hmm, yeah, I mean, it's just. I wish I could find something to show like Fox's overall ratings over time. That would be interesting to look at, because it just. What's this? No, that's not useful. I just, again, because Fox, like, look, I think we can all agree Fox News is not the same as it was, let's say,
Totally
6 years
agree.
ago.
Totally agree.
And I
Totally
think
agree.
even if they're having bumps right now, which I don't
Look,
know, I don't know about that, but
from a spirit, I agree. Like, from a numbers argument, we're not, like, I don't know if there's, that's kind of where it
well, let me
ends.
find their
Like,
ratings over time. I'd say that would be more helpful here. Okay, well, see, I'm seeing. Okay, well, take this what you will, because this is what I am finding. This is from the Wall Street Journal, and it's average primetime viewers, adults 25 to 54. and it shows Fox News, MSNBC, CNN. From 2015, it's going from 2015, 16, and it looks like into mid 17. Fox was dominating. They had a huge spike halfway through 16, and then when they hit 17, had a massive drop. But so did CNN, but MSNBC was kind of going up. So, again, that's not up to date with today, but their views were declining for a lot of 2017. So I really don't know if Fox really is doing better in ratings.
I mean, outside of Rachel Maddow, they're still king shitting it.
Well, they are king. Of all the cable news companies, they are king. But I think, especially as our generation, Zoomers get older, just TV viewership in general is going to go down. It just is. Because we're cable cutters.
I mean, honestly, look, I again, a lot of I feel like I'm repeating myself here, but like a lot. I mean, I prefer Blaze TV. I prefer Daily Wire. I prefer, censored TV. I prefer all those to Fox News. Like I do. But there's a lot of like there's a lot of there's a convenience element with Fox News, like that really keep them up and at them because yeah, it's a convenience thing. Because like, look, I can just turn on my TV and there's Fox News. With Blaze TV, I got to turn on Apple TV. I got to flip I have a remote that like automatically flips it, but then I got to I programmed it and all that mess. But like, no, there's a bit of a rigmarole as far as getting it to like Blaze TV or Daily Wire or whatever, or the Anthony Cumia network or whatever, or Compound Media. I'm sorry. Whereas with Fox News, I just turn on the fucking television and there it is. Like, sometimes, look, convenient, look, and we they teach this all the time in business. Sometimes convenience beats better quality. Like,
it almost always does.
Yeah. So that's kind of, I think that's part why Fox is still going to really be king shit. I think they were trying to set up Fox Nation, and I don't know if you could just do Fox Nation and compete with like Blaze TV or whatever, because that might not be such a good idea. But I mean,
excuse me.
Yeah. Because you're already competing with a lot of good stuff out there. Yeah, so I mean, it's a different animal, I guess. But you have to, I don't know. But look, I will say this. Because I know we gotta roll out here in a little bit. This is the kind of discussion that you have to have if you're going to have an argument with somebody. You have.
I thought it was calm, civil, obedient talk.
But I'm saying, look, if you like this is, but how we argue or how we debate is exactly how the fuck it should be. Like we're doing our research, we're pulling up our numbers, we're looking at multiple perspectives to our arguments, and that's how we're coming up with what we come up with versus, well, according to a poll, like I see, like no, like nobody.
Yeah, I should have been whipping out polls, and I would have schooled you in every single point.
I know, right? See, according to the Fox News poll, I totally no. You like, come on. Let's reel it in.
Why is it actually? I'll actually say something else too. It is surprisingly difficult to find fucking statistics on ratings. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Why is that so hard?
Well, because
that's surprised, Aaron.
No, because look, because we've been talking about this the entire time. Look, stats are there to be manipulated.
Yeah, but this is just
Look,
like straight up ratings. Like this is some of the most like standard shit.
I mean, yeah, but you, yeah, in theory, you are correct. However, you're dealing with a lot of the people that are providing this information have a kind of skewed view of things, and like, look, you think Comcast is going to give you, I don't know if Comcast is really going to give you that many honest numbers, or I mean, I'm assuming that the FCC is forcing people to give numbers, but I mean,
Well, because I get a lot
you don't
of
know that.
like
You
I will
fucking
get a
know
lot
that.
of individual years. I'm getting some from like that show from like let's say 2010 to 2017, but I'm not getting a lot post 2017, which is weird. I'm getting stuff about the Super Bowl and other things, which has declined dramatically. Holy shit! What? Wow. Oh, I had a little bump recently. Like, do you know the website Statistica?
Yeah,
That's like a marketing site. Something
mm,
probably I wish Penn State would give me access to.
yeah,
But like, look at even the Super Bowl. Like, again, this is why where my argument's coming from. It's just the nature of TV in general. Even the Super
yeah,
Bowl, overall, it's been going up. And it looks like it hit. I don't know I can't tell what year this is because I can only see a preview of this. But
yeah,
like recently, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, it looks like 6 years ago. Sharp decline.
yeah,
Looks like the last Super Bowl had a tiny bump, but
yeah.
like because these viewership numbers don't take into account usually streaming or other
Uh-huh.
things.
That's right.
And that's the other thing. Again, I'm not making this argument, but another reason Tucker might have higher ratings is people might be watching it on their computers more when they normally, let's say, wouldn't watch
But is
Fox.
that counted? Is that
But
counted
yeah, that's
though?
what I was gonna
Like,
say
we don't
next.
know.
Is
We
that
don't
counted?
know.
We don't know. So
We don't.
that's where it's like, even something as simple as ratings, it's like, well, what are these ratings of? You know, that's what I'm saying. Like with the Super Bowl ones, would be even crazier is that if this Super Bowl one is taking into account streaming and it's still going down, that's a different story than just, oh, the Super Bowl viewership's down. It's like, well, it's more accessible and viewership's down is another story. Anyway, is there anything else we should end on? Alex, do you have anything to say?
No, no, I'm good.
You didn't want to come into that little fracas.
No, man. I was reading that fucking Chris Chan wiki again,
That's what you were doing?
and you gotta go and have T get on here. I'm sure she would one of these days. I'm sure she would have fun analyzing this fucking basket case.
She thinks he is a molester or like pervert type pedophile
Oh, he
person.
fucking is a pervert.
She
He
just could
sees
tell
in the
from the
shit that he's
pictures.
done.
What was that?
Like that dude is a fucking pervert. I don't think he molested anyone. I think he was molested. I think he's like he had to fucking pay for a prostitute to get laid.
What is this, Catcher in the Rye?
Yeah, like you seen this dude?
I'm gonna go on sonachu.com right now.
Yeah, like I don't think he molested anyone else. He would have told someone about it because his entire life's on the fucking internet. Like literally fucking almost everything about his fucking life's on there. He would have told like one of the fucking trolls he was trying to go and like get into their pants about whatever bullshit he was involved with.
What the fuck? Did you know that Chris tried starting a career as a male prostitute?
I could
Go.
see it.
Chris thinks that those with Asperger's try to take the shine and limelight away from true autistic people. That's a hot take.
He's a Deuce Bigelow.
Oh, you ever see this? You ever hear of this fucker before?
I mean, I've heard it in passing. I wouldn't say
You haven't
Sweet.
dived deep into the lore of Chris Chan.
I can't say that I have.
You're missing out.
You're like, you're missing out, man. I'm like, yeah, about
Yeah,
that
maybe
whole
not.
missing out
He
thing.
is the most
Probably not.
he is the most documented person on the internet by far. Like people think that like what you call it, like Tiger King was something special. Like if they made one about this dude, and they did it right, like holy shit. They could have like multiple series just with all the shit they've documented. It's right over here too.
Where is the Chris Chan? Like, let me find. And then we will go. But let me find his like page on his own fucking wiki. Because Wikipedia doesn't have a lot on him. What?
He has like multiple wikis about him. Like he's that fucking popular. Like there's no one else I think that's fucking multiple wikis like that.
I can't read this first sentence with a straight face. Christian Weston Chandler, born 24th February 1982, is a 38-year-old autistic, mentally stunted individual, a former virgin with rage, and a self-proclaimed goddess. Virgin with rage, oh man. Can you imagine, like...
Dude, he looks like the health secretary in PA. I'm not even joking.
He was at BronyCon, wow.
Yeah, he also got, like, really pissed off when Sonic had blue arms and peppered spray in, like, some GameStop employee's face. He got sent to, I think, jail for, like, a day.
Oh, my God.
Like, he's the most fucking interesting man.
This is how Fox News could bump up their ratings, do an interview with this guy.
Fucking Netflix, man. Get on it. There's so much fucking information out here about this, dude. Like,
don't let him take our idea.
It's gotta fuck. Like, there's some documentaries about this, dude.
Free of charge. There you
go. Hey, I want the royalties.
Imagine that. Oh, look, I got rich off of royalties from a fucking autistic pervert or whatever. Yeah, that's how it happened.
I don't see him like raping someone though. Like he'd probably try, but he's got like a bent dick.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, it's on the website somewhere.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna change websites.
That's like, oh, how did you pay for this nice house? Like, oh, I got royalties from a dude with a bent dick.
Come on, admit it. It would be a funny thing to tell people because the reaction would be, dude, you could then make royalties from the videos you make of reactions of telling people about you making royalties off of that.
Like, I don't know why there isn't like psychology professors lying out the door to interview this person because he's he's just so documented. Like,
where is Jordan Peterson when we need him?
Oh my God! Someone should like do a GoFundMe for that.
He was a Cutco salesman in 2003.
Yes, they hire anyone. I know it's a scam.
Did you tell me that before? I feel like I've known that.
Yeah, I told you that.
He was a male escort in 2010. Unpaid. Entrepreneur, whoa.
Yeah, he made that whole Sonic comic.
Everyone's an entrepreneur now. Prostitute 2016 unpaid. How do you do that and not get paid?
Who would want to pay that guy for sex?
You're not wrong.
It's like this obese autistic guy with like a fucking cut in between his like penis and asshole. You know, I don't think people are lining up out the doors for him.
Poor guy.
Like, see, they can make a college course on being a historian. Like, if they can make one for poli-sci, they can make one for this fucking guy. It'd be just about as useful too.
That's the dude. That's the dude that cuts a hole in the candy bowl and sticks his junk in it. Like, hey, who wants candy?
He's too stupid to do something like that.
I Google Chris Chan and Chris Hemsworth's Wikipedia comes up. Oh my God.
Yeah, like that's the problem. Like, you know, he would have probably had his life would have been a lot different if he didn't engage with fucking trolls. Like,
some people just shouldn't be on the internet.
Yeah, like honestly, if he didn't have access to the internet, his life would be a lot better. He wouldn't be trans. He wouldn't, you know, have been kicked out of like the games place and kicked out of like community college and kicked out of Walmart and sent to jail and, you know, forced on probation and all this other stuff. It all stems from these like people like trolling him and his reaction to the trolls. Like, it's his reaction that makes him keep coming back for more.
Well, that's the thing. Well, what do people say? You want to stop trolls? Don't feed the trolls. He feeds
This is
them.
what happens. You feed the trolls, you turn to this.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to cut the stream here because it's probably getting close to 3 hours. Oh, it is. Well, maybe we should keep talking. It's so close to it. Should we hit that 3-hour mark? Oh, we're a minute away. We're at 2 hours, 59 minutes, and 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 6 seconds. Oh, my God.
Jesus.
See, my OCD doesn't want it to say 2:59. That will just bother me.
Get to go on here next week and fucking analyze this person.
Yeah, maybe she will take a break from her normal psych studies and dive into some real psych studies. But yeah, because like I said, I did just show her the picture, and she was just like, "Wow, this dude looks like he's like gonna molest somebody or something." She's only like her.
He looks like he already has.
Yeah. I forget everything she said, but like I did ask her about that. But anyway, we're gonna close out. We've gone too far down many interesting rabbit holes. Some more pleasant than others, some more productive than others, some weirder than others. But we did go down all of them. So thank you everyone for tuning in, all you two beautiful viewers. Like, subscribe, share this, fight the globalists, fight the censorship. Have a nice day, stay safe, and wash your fucking hands.
Later, Gators.
See you around. Oh my God.
I thought you were going to say